All right, y'all. I was trying to get here early today, but I was going over somebody's stream. Somebody will cover right now. And it's just so pathetic. It's just so pathetic. It made me laugh. I was hoping, I was speed running it and hoping that by watching it in 2 times speed, I could kind of jot down some notes and make sure we skip some of the more boring or mundane or just pointless moments. And we will be doing that. Just a couple minutes of the hour-long video. Unfortunately, definitely on the second half of that hour, just the double speaking from both sides out of their mouth, and more importantly, trying to control the narrative. So we're going to be covering mainly Radlander, officially running. We've been talking about it, but now we're seeing how Wonder Bread Tube. Now we're seeing these counterinsurgents propagandas, hop on Radlander's side and try to minimize and dismiss the fact that he is a liberal Zionist at best, right? When we call somebody a liberal Zionist, they're a Zionist through and through. The question is, or the difference is, how they think that the Zionist project should be operating, how it should be moving forward, what is best for the Zionist project. They don't want to see its end. They're not opposed to Zionism. What they're opposed to is the rabid, full reactionary, unabashed, shameless, braggadocious Zionism of Benjamin Netanyahu and his ilk. So, again, we have to make that distinction to understand that when we call Bernie Sanders a Zionist, he's a Zionist. When we call Sam Cedar a Zionist, he's a Zionist. Ethan Klein was a Zionist before October 7th, before he went into, before Hassan Piker went into business with him, he was a Zionist. This was known, right? But the normalization of liberal Zionism was a whole lot, it wasn't even questioned prior to October 7th. And now we're seeing its reabsorption into civil society, right? Or not even civil society, but to people on the left. I mainly started this channel out of concern for that. Prior to October 7th, you're seeing a lot of these opportunists. We were covering Chris Kunstler yesterday. I avoided him because of the accent. I avoided him because I recognized, like, oh, okay, I can't trust this guy. He's got the information. He is very intelligent, very articulate. His accent does give him a lot of status and authority. Not for me. I'm biased in the opposite direction when I hear that sound coming out of people's mouths. However, for the most part, generally speaking, that is a positive thing for most people. We've been conditioned to assume that accent has some connection to intelligence, to academic achievements, yada, yada, right? Not for me. For me, it's an immediate red flag. I'm biased, whatever. And I was proven correct yesterday. Chris Kunstler, who has made his name known, gained popularity, has financially profited off of the genocide of Palestinians, comes out and says that the position of indigenous people here in the belly of the beast, and generally speaking, Turtle Island, is cemented. The question, because the US has exterminated enough of them, has displaced enough of them to where it's cemented. And the question is for Chris Kunstler and all his fans, and I'm not a debate bro. I grew out of that immediately in high school. In high school, I grew out of that. The shit that they're obsessed with, I grew out of it. It's a simple question. If you believe that the position of indigenous people here in the US is cemented, I'm assuming in so-called Australia as well, and every other settler colonial project outside of Palestine. What is the date and what is the number? for you to start making the same proclamations for Palestinian people? It's a simple question, right? But we're seeing the normalization of liberal Zionism once again. Whereas before it wasn't really questioned. If you were a liberal Zionist, it was irrelevant to your position on being part of the left. It was just accepted. You look at people like Sam Cedar, who their main objective is to muddy the waters, to make things obscure. And we'll cover a little bit of his conversation on I've Had It, the podcast with Jennifer Welch, who, I mean, if it's not the homophobia, if it's not the targeting of compradors over her fellow whites, it's just one thing after another. And it's that weird creep co-host that was sexualizing or objectifying Hassan Piker, who, you know, lends himself to it. But then we see how that is that's dangerous to non-white people. It really is across the board. So anyone contributing to that normalization is aiding and abetting white supremacy in the way that it dehumanizes non-white people as just objects, as sexual objects. And Hassan, a lot of his online presence is rooted in objectifying himself and being the, you know, the Oriental dream of white women, of white people in general. And he's white, so Euro Americans love that because he's just like exotic enough, right?
I'm afraid of like
Thank you for
talking to
subscribing.
people
Appreciate it.
who are outside of my race.
Which, I mean, sometimes I wonder, I mean, bro, like, I know you don't have an accent because you went to like these private schools and stuff, and you're too good to sound like you're Turkish apparently. But come on, man, it would help you. It would benefit you. A little bit of an accent would help. Just saying. But yeah, we're gonna cover that a little bit. But Sam Cedar, his main objective as a liberal Zionist counterinsurgent propagandist is to muddy the waters for his audience on what is and what isn't Zionism, what is and what isn't anti-Zionism, right? And we've been over that. We've been going over that since day one of this channel. But again, you're starting to see the normalization of it happen now, getting ramped up with essentially every democratic socialist coming out and having to support this anti-BDS liberal Zionist in Brad Lander. There's some people that are upset about it because Zohran Mamdani has once again used his weight, used his influence, used his power over the DSA to dictate who gets to challenge these incumbents. So he is proactively protecting the Democratic establishment. He is proactively picking and choosing who is allowed to challenge the Democratic Party. And, you know, with that, we have to recognize that Mamdani, even before becoming mayor, is already a comprador through and through. And the fact that so many of these so-called leftists, whether it's Emma Vigeland, Hassan Piker, we'll see Sam Cedar glorifying Mamdani, are willing to dismiss or to diminish or outright ignore Mamdani's allyship with Zionists, whether it's Jessica Tisch, whether now it's Brad Lander, whether it's the NYPD. Mamdani has done enough to inform us, to let us know, to notify us whose side he's on. And the fact that these individuals are still glorifying him, refuse to critique him, demonstrates that for them, you know, witnessing a genocide of Palestinians, this bullshit ceasefire is apparently insufficient for them to be principled. And we saw it where they were critical of the Democratic Party, but the moment it came time to vote, their allegiance to the Democratic Party was unwavering, absolutely unwavering in the face of a genocide. Unwavering. We've seen it. So if genocide is not a red line for them when it comes to Palestinians, you're not safe. They're not your allies. They won't stand by you. They won't fight for you. They simply won't. for either their idea of gaining power, but more accurately for their comfort. Kwame Ture told us about how they're here, the liberals, in the chapter Pitfalls of Liberalism. They're here to maintain the status quo. They're here to maintain the status quo. The status quo prior to October 7th was liberal Zionists are our allies. Their Zionist ideology should not be questioned. And nothing demonstrates that more than Hassan Piker going into business with the Kleins and starting that show, The Leftovers, or just Leftovers. If Hassan Piker truly believed that Ethan Klein was no longer a Zionist, wouldn't that be a great conversation to have on a show about politics? Hey, Ethan, tell us about your transition from being a Zionist, someone who married an IOF proud veteran, someone who lived in the Zionist entity to get married to them. And we know that the Zionist entity honeypots, Jewish diaspora youth so that they can have children and occupy more land and remain in the Zionist entity. The Kleins decided to leave. No credit to them. They still uphold and they still promote Zionist ideology. Oh, it's liberal Zionism, so it's okay. That's what Hassan was thinking prior to October 7th. And we have the video evidence of Hassan being, joking and dismissive and unwilling to dive into Ethan Klein's Zionist ideology. In order to do what? In order to protect the show, because he knew that his audience, forced with confronting the reality of what liberal Zionism truly is, which is still Zionism, just a different approach, for the safety and prosperity and the continued existence of the Zionist project. I mean, it's the difference between Golda Meir and Benjamin Netanyahu. It's the difference between Golda Meir and Benjamin Netanyahu. That is the difference between liberal Zionism and the rabid Zionists. The approach. And I know usually, we joke around in the start, yada, yada, whatever. I know I've been talking about the Grand Platinum video for a minute. I'm not trying to overhype it. I don't think it's going to be something extraordinary, but it's something that I want to get down right. Not perfect, but get things together properly. And one of the things that I mentioned in the video is that, yes, as the contradictions continue to contradict, as we continue to step into late stage capitalism, or the ridiculous notion of techno-feudalism, as if it's not just capitalism, whatever, right? But really, as the white settlers start feeling the pressure, they will continue to do this and do it more shamelessly, right? They will continue to align with these fascists. We've seen it. They were applauding Mamdani cozying up to Trump. We've seen it with Kyle KKK Kulinski. And it's a concern of mine because I know that their audience is a lot bigger than my platform, but unfortunately a lot bigger than channels who are bigger than myself, who, we look out for their information, for their analysis, whether it's outlets like Black Agenda Report, whether it's Black Liberation Media, the individuals that Jared hosts on Millennials Are Killing Capitalism, what have you. Should even throw Breakthrough News on there, despite, our criticisms of them and the PSL. Eugene has done some great solid work. Ronnie Kylik, again, despite our criticism, has done some great interviews. Mark Lamont Hill was willing to risk his career prior to October 7th when it was popular to, show solidarity with Palestinians. Again, our criticism aside, if people provide good work, they provide good work. But these individuals, the majority reports, Secular Talk, Hassan Piker, they've always been in the pockets of the Democratic Party. They always have. They claim to be independent. They claim to be critical of the Democratic Party, but they've never opposed them. In fact, they smear third party movements who are not the vanguard, movements that we need, but even representing some sort of challenge to the Democratic Party is too much for them. So they have to smear them. Sam Cedar, Hassan have both smeared the Green Party, refusing to acknowledge the reality that the Green Party has been targeted by the Democratic Party, and the so-called democratic process that we have here has been completely, and again, under the illusion of it all, within the illusion that they uphold, has been completely tarnished by the Democratic Party's continuous, attack on the Green Party out of fear of losing power to them. The PSL. Why is it that Hassan Piker is willing to go and speak on the mic and give some empty slogans and broadcast, this giant march to his audience and say, oh yeah, I spoke there, but was unwilling to platform Claudia de la Cruz during her presidential run? I'm not saying that would have been the difference, but I'm saying that obviously his audience would have been more susceptible to joining the PSL, to voting at least for Claudia de la Cruz over Holocaust Harris. Why is it that Hassan Piker, a so-called self-identified socialist, depending on the day of the week, depending on the platform, depending on how many zeros are in his bank account, voted for Holocaust Harris in California? It makes absolutely no sense for anyone that claims to be a leftist to vote for Harris in California, right? So we're going to see how they're trying to change the narrative from, hey, Zohran Mamdani used his weight to overpower the democratic process within the DSA, Democratic Socialists of America, the Democratic Socialists of America, the Democratic Socialists of America. They use the word democratic because they're trying to smear outright socialism, but they're trying to say, no, unlike Maduro, who Zohran Mamdani essentially called a dictator, unlike Maduro, unlike the ghost of Fidel in Cuba, and shout out to the ghost of Hugo Chavez, we're not those type of socialists. We're the good type of socialists, right? What was Bernie Sanders always saying? No, we're like the European socialists, because white is right. White is safe. The way white people do it, no, that's comfortable. That's democratic. But the way that those brown people do it, no. That's authoritarianism. That has to be stopped. That has to be stopped. Make no fucking mistake. When Zohran Mamdani is, appealing to and agreeing to and giving consent to, the Miami baptism that Jorge Ramos and his daughter gave him, he is co-signing Donald Trump's administration taking, Venezuelan ships with oil. It's the fucking embargoes that they have on them is not enough. Now it's a full-on blockade that they're trying to impose on Venezuela. And Venezuela has every right to defend themselves. Every single right. And what you're seeing on the ground, the arming of citizens, of the people, that Maduro can just walk around alongside them, that's true fucking democracy if we're going to glorify that shit. Meanwhile, the Democratic Socialists of America, the Democratic Socialists of America are getting bullied. By Zohran Mamdani. And you wonder what was in that phone calls with Obama. You wonder what was going on in those phone calls with Obama. And I think you're seeing the movement now. I think you're seeing the chess moves being played out now. For whatever reason, allegedly, Zohran Mamdani got upset with Brad Lander, says, I can't have you on my team, but go out there and I'll back you up.
I'm afraid of talking
and
to
I'll squash out
who are outside of my race.
Appreciate it. And I'll squash and stomp out anyone trying to come up from the DSA ranks. Because I run that shit. I mean, credit to him. I mean, we're not, look. We're petty. We'll hate on the players, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's the fucking game. And if somebody, shows up, and, reminds us how the game is really ran, you got to respect that shit. You have to. You have to put your ego to the side and say, oh, damn, homie is moving the way that it should be, that it can be ran, right? You have to acknowledge that. You can't be a full-on player hater. You really can't. You really can't, or at least you shouldn't. Because they're moving in the ways that they're allowed to move. At any moment, the DSA can come out and renounce Mamdani. At any moment, the DSA can come out and say Mamdani is refusing the democratic process. We denounce Mamdani. He has, before becoming mayor, has already betrayed us. And we will adjust and come up with different rules, with different agreements with our future candidates to guarantee the democratic process is upheld. They could take that approach, but they refuse to. Because the DSA is not a fucking party. The DSA is the left PR, the left PR wing of the Democratic Party. That's what they are. That's what they are. And it's so unfortunate because I know great fucking people that are trying to do the work, that are trying to do best for their communities, to protect people in their communities that are part of the DSA. And they almost got me. And if you're not a party, you feel a little useless. If you're not in a party, you feel a little useless. You feel like you're just talking out of your ass, like you're just criticizing, right? Monday morning quarterback shit. But there is no Vanguard party right now. There is no Vanguard party. So don't feel guilty over that. Now, I'll always tell you, join a political organization if you can, or join, a left-wing organization. So at the very least, they might not be perfect. They might meet all your fucking standards and criteria, but guess what? You will show up. You will learn how to be a better comrade. You will learn how to just be a better individual. You will learn how to work together. You will learn how to organize. Hopefully. And guess what? The mistakes you make there, the lessons you learn there, the mistakes you'll leave with them, hopefully, and the lessons you learn you'll take to someday a Vanguard party. So I'm not here saying don't join. If that's the best you got around you, dale. Dale. You have these idiots online like Bad Empanada, bien a gusto in Argentina. Bien a gusto. He gets to go from Europe to Australia to Argentina and benefit from white supremacy and Western imperialism and wag his finger. And wag his finger comfortably. Saying, oh, unions this, oh, DSA that, blah, 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 blah. And what are you doing, bro? And what are you doing besides getting rich off other people's suffering? Besides benefiting from Western imperialism and white supremacy? What are you doing? So again, this is not me telling you not to join an organization, a union, what have you. But again, it's what Glenn Ford told us. Organize with eyes wide open. Organize with eyes wide open. Organize with eyes wide open. And these people, their eyes are wide open. But they're using that clarity, that sight, that vision to blindfold those around them, to blindfold those that trust them. And this is why we have to view these people as our enemies. This is why I'm upset. Because they're doing it again. They're running the same fucking play on us. If you're out on the field, if you're out on the court, if you're in the fucking ring and you get hit with the same play, with the same combo, the same fucking runs, at what point do you start feeling embarrassed? At what point do you start getting angry at yourself? But whatever you're feeling, you should always know that the people that are doing that to you are your opponents, are your enemies, are the people that are proactively trying to get you to fucking lose so they can win. So yes, we need to hate these fucking people more. We need to despise these people more. We need to call these people out more. Because they're going to lead us to worse situations. And just so they could have a few more moments in comfort, in luxury, in wealth, in safety, in health. Things that have been denied to us time and time again, generation after generation. But this, running this fucking game, is what secures it for them. If you haven't already, why the fuck haven't you subscribed? Hit the like button. We're here. Super chat, super stickers are turned on. The Patreon is up and running if you want to join the Discord. Starting next month, right around the corner, we're going to start the monthly watch parties, documentaries, and movies. We're going to start the, hopefully, weekly. It'll be weekly. Book club. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to start building that, that space over there to encourage each other to learn, to really try and do some work. I call it road work. You can show up and train and hit pads and spar, this and that. At the end of the day, you got to get off your ass, hit pavement, and run. Something I've always, lacked on or was lax on. Reading is part of that road work. It's not going to guarantee you victory. It's not going to mean you're better than this. Nothing. It's just essential to the whole process. All right, let's get to it. So here we have the most bland piece of bread in the entire Wonder Bread sphere. Emma, my parents, are wealthy ass fucking corporate lawyers, Vigeland, who got her start being an intern. And again, the luxury, the financial security that you need to even be an intern, right? Or TYT. Sam Cedar saw her, saw how she lacked any charisma, any personality, any unique opinion, and said, I'll never be overshadowed by a co-host again. Referencing to our great white savior, the saint himself, Michael Brooks. And so he hires Emma Vigeland and pushes out Jamie Peck, who I'm not a fan of at all. However, anyone, and I'll be a little bit of a machista, specifically femmes, women, who are being harassed by their employer, their boss, who have to deal with a hostile work environment because they're opinionated. Gasp. They got my support. They got my support in that sense. I'm a sharp steward at heart, apparently. So when I see that shit, I despise it. And of course, Michael Brooks, Matt Leck, everyone there refused to speak up for their coworker when their boss was verbally harassing them. And it just wasn't one time. The hostility was there for a long time. So he pushes her out because he knows that Matt Leck is going to be a good little guard dog. And this is what we have, Emma Vigeland. The bar continues to be lowered. Let's go, Brad Lander. Let's go, Brad Lander. Now, Brad Lander opposes BDS. Brad Lander is a Zionist through and fucking through. You don't have to do this. You choose to do this. You choose to push his narrative and to normalize them. Y'all remember when, let's see if I can find it real quick. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Should be able to find it. very quickly here. When Emma Vigeland was pretending to cry because all her work covering the genocide of Palestinians had chemically altered her mind. Here's what she had to say. Where are we
at? Blood.
Can I just say
stuff? Yeah,
you've been crushing it on this, and
thank you.
Truly one of the few voices who's been crushing it so succinctly, so perfectly. And for anyone who's been introduced to this issue through the Majority Report, they are so lucky to have you, because you have been just so clear, especially around, yes, the power dynamics, always reminding us, never sort of like falling for the little sand traps that are set up around this issue. And it's been, if you're not told enough, I'm telling you now.
No, you make me cry. This has changed my brain chemistry indelibly, and like the fact that we can reach one person, right? Maybe change their mind. And I've always, so I really appreciate that, because sometimes it feels like nothing's changing.
No, exactly. And you do it in a way that, look, I think a lot of us are scrolling through some of the worst things we've ever seen in our lives. I am a mom. I've seen way too many dead babies, and it is truly horrendous. And then you see schools, like, universities being blown up. You see entire blocks being leveled. And to be able to, without showing your audience all of those images, but still have that, I think, urgency that we all need to have around this, knowing that all of this is going on every single day is really, look, dude, guys, I made Emma cry, and if I could just get some, oh
my God, it's really not an easy feat. I cry at that Amazon commercial where all the women start sledding down, and In My Life by the Beatles starts playing. Yeah, so don't pat yourself too hard on the back. But
damn it, I haven't seen that.
that I will say that is maybe the most emotionally manipulative commercial I've ever seen.
All right. So I had to look this up. Indelible. Not able to be forgotten. Making marks that cannot be removed. Remember, she was afforded an education that you can't fucking dream of. She was afforded an education from birth. We're not talking about college. No. From birth. An education you can't even dream of.
Is that I had to break up with my therapist last week.
Oh my God. No.
This is months after this moment here with Matt Lieb's wife, Francesca Fiorentino.
Can I just say,
who loves making white people comfortable, who loves praising white people, right?
Is that I had to
goes on Bad Hasbara, which is literally profiting off of the death, the genocide of Palestinians, and is ran by two liberal Zionists that consistently have liberal Zionists like Emma Vigeland on, and unfortunately, have taken advantage of the lack of research, the lack of awareness of some great anti-Zionists. Here we go. There's Matt Lieb to the left. So, month or two after Emma Vigeland Francesca Francesca, no comment. No comment. If you're talking about the blandest piece, not even mold would get on it. In Wonder Bread tube.
Is that I had to break up with my therapist.
And now I'm feeling disrespected and insulted. Weeks after, a month or two after tearing up and saying, my brain chemistry has been altered forever and ever, Emma Vigeland reveals that she's been seeing a Zionist therapist throughout that whole process, throughout her brain changing.
Is that I had to break up with my therapist last week.
Oh my God. No.
We had a very difficult few months since October 7th.
Few months. She's been paying a fucking Zionist. She's been paying a fucking Zionist for a few months. She's been going, I mean, you know, therapy is like confession, really, right? You're a priest with your first fucking therapist. She's been going to like fucking confession. She's been going to seek medical, you know, psychological assistance from a fucking Zionist for a few months. For a few fucking months, pretending to give a fuck about Palestinians, pretending to oppose Zionism, and going to one of the most intimate process that you can have, and confiding into a Zionist. No, don't. Okay, this is the screenshot when it says 2 months ago, or the screen recording. That's when I recorded this. Fake news, sweeter than anything. Come on. For a few fucking months. Again, this is after crying with this dude's wife. She's fucking tall, by the way. I've met her in real life. She's tall.
Is that I had to break up with my therapist last week.
Oh my God. Oh no.
We had a very difficult few months since October 7th, where, you know, she is an older Jewish woman.
Sure.
And that's, of course, like, we had a great relationship, and I kind of just plowed through because at the beginning I knew if I ended this, even though she was such a big Zionist, like, she would think I was anti-Semitic 100%.
Right.
So she worked through it. Because although she was a huge Zionist, she didn't want a Zionist thinking that she was anti-Semitic. So prioritizing the feelings, the sentiment of a Zionist while claiming to give a fuck about Palestinians. So are we surprised in the slightest that she is now over here campaigning for Brad Lander, who even opposes BDS, a non-violent movement? Lynn Stack, thank you so much. You're so right. In the process of this, she accused me of being anti-Semitic for daring to question her position, her boss's position, Sam Cedar, for pushing back against Matt Leck, for daring to be critical of Jewish critical voices of the Zionist project. Not anti-Zionist. Norm Finkelstein has never been an anti-Zionist. Jeff Halper is not an anti-Zionist. She accused me of being a Zionist. Of being anti-Semitic. She accused me of being anti-Semitic. You're right on that, Lynn Stack. And I should have that clipped out. I should have that moment. That should be a drop. Actually, do I have that? Let me see here. Do I have that? I should have that. I should have that right here. I remember it became difficult to continuously find that conversation with the Majority Report. So what I ended up doing is I just downloaded that unlisted episode. Is it this one though? That's the question. Yeah. It has to be this one. Is it? No. What does the fun have? Let's see here. Okay, yes. All I have to do to find out whether it's the right episode or not is look at the comment section and see 209. Okay. All I have to do is look at the comment section and see all the people fucking hitting on me, which is beautiful. You know, we appreciate it here. Let me find it real quick. But it would be interesting to see how that comment section hopefully changes over time. Again, that video is unlisted, so it's not like people have
Back
easy
to
access
me,
to
something I
it. Let's see. This is too fucking funny, but let me find it here. Are you talking about Sam? What's something that she says? Oh, if the shoe fits. That's what she says around that part. Hold on. I never understand why this thing is so unfriendly. Norm, I guess. Norman or Norm? Yes, here you go. Perfect. And this is where I coined settler realism. Completely came up with it from, you know, by myself. Mark Fisher had nothing to do with it.
You know, everybody likes to reference like capitalism.
I don't, and I
Of course you do.
Really fantastic. Your position is, I think, completely fantastical, and I do.
Of course you do. You're gone. You're a settler. Of course, you believe that it's an improbability, right?
No.
You know, everybody likes to reference like capitalism.
I don't think it's an improbability.
Capitalist realism.
No, I don't think it's an
But there is
improbability.
a settler realism.
Yes.
There's a settler realism as well at play, right?
I
That
think
you cannot perceive the fact that you will lose power. Right?
No. I can perceive
Who's
the fact
the we
that,
here,
hold on a
actually?
sec.
No. Actually, I want you to expand on the fact that you just brought up Norm Finkelstein and you gratuitously to talk about, and when you say
again, big words, gratuitously. I can't even say it. My spick accent doesn't allow me to say it. Gratuitously. How do we pronounce this? Gratuitously. All right. Without good reason, unjustifiably, or free of charge. Oh, like gratuity? Oh, nice. Which I didn't. Literally, factually, I did not do that. I brought up Norm Finkelstein. I love y'all so much. Thank you. I brought up Norm Finkelstein because Matt Leck, the producer of this show, loves citing, referencing settlers like Jeff Halper, like Ilan Pape. Individuals like Norm Finkelstein who literally say, I am not an enemy of Israel, right? So it wasn't gratuitously or gratuitously. It wasn't at all. It was within the conversation of saying, hey, these Europeans of Jewish descent or Jewish identity that you continue to reference, I disagree with in this specific field of being critical of the Zionist entity. I mean, look, I don't know big words. But at least I'm not going to use them wrong or incorrectly.
we here, actually. No. Actually, I want you to expand on the fact that you just brought up Norm Finkelstein and you gratuitously to talk about, and when you say we, who are you referring to when you're talking about Sam, huh?
Look, she's all serious. She thinks this is her fucking moment. She got me. And nothing demonstrates what a fucking Zionist you really are than to immediately, out of desperation, not having any value to add to a conversation, having no analysis, having no fucking defense for your position. What do all these fucking Zionists do every single time? I don't care if they're liberal Zionists. I don't care if they're spiritual Zionists. I don't give a fuck where in the Zohran spectrum of his administration you fall as a Zionist. What do they all hide behind, Chad, every single fucking time? They'll accuse you of being anti-Semitic. The rabid, reactionary, foaming at the mouth Zionists will do it immediately. In fact, they've ruined it for the liberal Zionists. But liberal Zionists like this, they know when to play it. Look at this. Look at this Neanderthal fucking forehead scrounged up in there, like just not even scrounged up, just the fucking protruding fucking. Oh, all right, we're not gonna get into that. But this is some fucking Chaplin ass fucking humor right here. Look at this. Look, homie, you hire stupid ass, dumb ass people, and this is the best you're gonna get.
To talk about, and when you say we, who are you referring to when you're talking about Sam, huh?
Look at this. What is this dumbass saying? Emma, look, if you take one thing, understand that Sam Seder thinks you're a fucking idiot. That's why he hired you, an uncharismatic fucking idiot that can never overshadow him the way that Michael Brooks, our great white savior saint, did.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't
Settlers, Europeans.
Hold on.
You're talking about white people or are you talking about Jewish people?
No. I mean,
white people. Why are you pulling this anti-Semitism thing? Not even Sam's pulling it.
Well, the shoe fits.
Respect.
We'll go back to her right now. I just want to highlight Sammy, like, no, whoa. Oh man, I love how it goes from like condescending to like just.
I perceive the fact that you will lose power. Right?
No. I can perceive.
Who's the we here, actually?
Hold on
No. Actually, I want you to expand on the fact that you just brought up Norm Finkelstein and you gratuitously to talk about. And when you say we, who are you referring to when you're talking about Sam, huh?
What do you mean?
Well, I don't
Settlers, Europeans.
Hold on.
You're talking about white people or are you talking about Jewish people?
No.
Are you talking about white people or are you talking about Jewish people? To be a Zionist, you're required to be anti-Semitic. So by trying to accuse me of being anti-Semitic, she has revealed, Emma Vigeland, fucking Mayflower Emma Vigeland herself, has revealed that she does not view Jewish people as white people. That is definitionally anti-Semitic. When you don't view Europeans, just because they are of the Jewish faith, as your fellow whites, I'm pretty sure that makes you anti-Semitic. I'm pretty fucking sure that is a requirement to be anti-Semitic, not to view Europeans of the Jewish faith as your fellow whites. I mean, there was a moment that there was a moment before that if you didn't view Italians as white, nobody batted an eye. Yeah, of course they're not white. Look at their olive skin. Right? And then they got accepted into the fold of whiteness. Their anti-black racism was that, finally qualified them into the greater white space, into the greater white family. A lot of fucking intertwined branches in that family. And they're like, all right, we'll accept you. And so now we recognize that if you don't consider Italians white, then you're like a different type of fucking white supremacist. Like you're a real fucking racist white supremacist, right? Like you're at that point where you're like, oh shit, you're going old school. Like you're going back to like categorizing other Europeans. And this is how we know that the people, or some of the reactionary right-leaning white supremacists in Ukraine, that they're legit fucking like neo-Nazis, because they look at Russians and they're like, oh, they're not white. And they depict them in this monstrous fucking way, right? So it's like, oh, their fucking racism is top tier. There's levels to this shit, right? There was a time where the Klan would proactively go after Irish people and Catholic people, regardless of their skin tone. There was a point where Irish weren't considered white. How do you deny the most pale fucking people in the world? Again, no logic to it. But this right here exposed Emma Vigeland as distinguishing, because she was, I riled her up. I have that effect. I get white people upset, especially white people that think they're on the right side, that view themselves as the good whites. And she let that shit slip up. Oh, fuck. She just revealed that she does not view European Jews as white. That's some Nazi ass fucking shit. No wonder she's defending Graham Plattner's fucking Totenkopf tattoo. No wonder. Who knows what the fuck she's got tattooed on her? We don't know. We do not know. Have you ever seen her this upset? At a reactionary, at a right-winger? Of course not. At a Zionist? Fuck no.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't
Settlers, Europeans.
Hold on.
You're talking about white people or are you talking about Jewish people?
No. I mean,
white people. Why are you pulling this anti-Semitism thing? Not even Sam's pulling it.
Well, the shoe fits.
Respect.
No.
Well, if the shoe fits. Oh, no. The real, I mean, if you want to dig into the fucking racism of shit, ask what fucking like Southern Italians feel about Northern Italians and vice versa. It's a whole fucking, man, these people had too much fucking time in their fucking hands. Too much fucking time on their hands. God damn. But there you have it. Emma Vigeland does not view European Jews as white. She accused me of being anti-Semitic. But she's also, quite interestingly, conveniently, doesn't recognize Bernie Sanders as a Zionist. So I'm sure that she won't acknowledge that Brad Lander is a Zionist either. And I'm sorry that we're going to have to continue seeing this on screen. I apologize. The setup, because this happened first.
And I think to many people do not understand that the Israel of today is not the Israel of Golda Meir of 20 or 30 years ago. It is a right-wing country, increasingly becoming a religious fundamentalist country, where you have some of these guys in office believe that God told them they have a right to control the entire area. Not a whole lot different, by the way, than what Hamas is saying. So, and I think to many people,
not a whole lot different than Hamas. These guys are so evil that they're like Hamas. The people trying to defeat them. Glorifying his alleged lover, Golda Meir. Let's hear what Sam Cedars' employee has to say here.
Free Palestine said Bernie pointed out Israel has a right to defend itself.
Yeah, that needs to go.
So he, under these, we have to, I'm trying to be not super generous in calling people Zionists. If you're still post-October 7th, aggressively anti-Palestinian, you're in the Zionist bucket. Bernie, I wouldn't call a Zionist, even though he expresses Zionist framing in the way that he talks about Israel.
I mean, he's probably, yeah, I mean.
I wouldn't, I'm trying to be generous. I'm trying to be a good person. People criticizing me in my position, they're anti-Semitic. But Bernie Sanders, a lifelong Zionist, understand this. We were all bamboozled. It's on us for not realizing that he was, or not knowing, not educating ourselves when he first ran, that he was a lifelong Zionist. We were too busy defending him from the communist accusations. That's on us. 100%, guilty as fucking charged. But at this point, what excuse do you have not to categorize Bernie Sanders as a fucking Zionist? And what happens, and we're seeing it with Brad Lander. We're seeing it with Brad Lander. Shout out the Twitch chat, keeping it alive over there. AD, he literally lived a summer in a kibbutz, shar. I mean, that's a made up word, so I'm not even going to say it. But yes. So what does that allow? What does that allow these Zionists to do? The very same thing that Sam Cedar was trying to do from the jump. Being a good liberal Zionist, he was trying to muddy the waters and redefine the definition of what is a Zionist and what is an anti-Zionist. And again, we've been over this stuff. But apparently we need to fucking hammer it through.
It's well-meaning as they will be.
The formation of the State of Israel, more than aware of the Holocaust, and which took people in my own family and the horrible anti-Semitism that existed then exists today.
Let's see the smile. Let's see the smile. Bernie never smiles. Bernie never smiles. So let's see the smile.
Its history. Your father fled Poland in 1920s. Violent anti-Semitism. Your uncle was in a ghetto and was killed by the Nazis. I'm curious how that family history has shaped your views of Israel. And
well, let me add something to it. When I was a kid, I was in Israel for, I can't remember, 3 or 4 months. Worked on several kibbutzim. I was very impressed by what I saw. Was very excited at the formation when I was a kid, the formation of the state of Israel. More than aware of the Holocaust, and which took.
When do you ever see Bernie Sanders smile? When do you ever see Bernie Sanders smile?
Israel.
Well, let me add something to it. When I was a kid, I was in Israel for, I can't remember, 3 or 4 months. Worked on several.
When do you ever see Bernie Sanders smile? When, chat? Let me know, please. You never see this fucking monster smile. You never see it. Oh, but when he thinks, he reminisces about colonizing Palestine, he can't help but his heart to grow 3 times bigger. The independent Grinch himself. Always grouchy, always upset at mainstream media for not focusing on the things that matter. Always angry, always upset that he has to play the sheepdog to the Democratic Party. But look at that fucking smile. And what is he smiling for? What is he smiling over? Colonizing Palestine, contributing to the colonization of Palestine through the kibbutz. And we saw yesterday how Loner Boggs tried to diminish what a kibbutz is. We've seen it before with the Vanguard, Zach and Gavin claiming that the kibbutz were these beautiful, anarchy syndicalist fucking bullshit. Because Jeffrey Epstein's good friend, Noam Chomsky, was inspired by them. And to the surprise of no one, they dismiss, ignore the racism of Kyle KKK Kalinske. And they go to bed with brown women. To the surprise of no one, to the shock of no one. But when do you see this shit? When do you see Bernie smiling? When he's reminiscing about those summer nights in a kibbutz, cozying up next to Golda Meir, allegedly. Fucking disgusting. But they ask him here, do you consider yourself a Zionist? And he says no. And he says no because people, propagandists, counterinsurgent, liberal Zionist propagandists like Sam Cedar and Emma Vigeland have proactively redefined what Zionism means and what anti-Zionism means. So that this motherfucker can say shit like this.
Kibbutzim. I was very impressed by what I saw. Was very excited at the formation when I was a kid, the formation of the state of Israel. More than aware of the Holocaust, and which took people in my own family. And the horrible anti-Semitism that existed then exists today in America. So I'm proudly Jewish. But that does not mean in any way, shape, or form that I will support a right-wing extremist government in Israel that is doing horrific things to the Palestinian people.
He won't support a right-wing extremist government. He won't support a right-wing extremist government. But he will support the Golda Meirs who still use chemical weapons in the West Bank. A Zionist is a Zionist. How they try to protect, secure their homeland, the Zionist settler colonial project, is what distinguishes them from a liberal Zionist, from a rabid Zionist, but they're a Zionist through and through. He's not upset at the colonization of Palestine. He's upset at the approach, at the strategy that the extreme right-wing government of Benjamin Netanyahu is taking.
Government in Israel that is doing horrific things to the Palestinian people.
Would you consider yourself a Zionist?
No, not within the terms of what Zionism means, no.
You talked about.
Would you consider yourself a Zionist? And he says no. And he says no. And he's able to say that shit and get away with it because of Sam Cedar, because of Memo Vigeland, because of Hassan Piker, because of the Vanguard, because of Crystal Ball, because of Kyle Kalinske. Because of all the people that I'm telling you, the leftist mafia, all these fucking bastards. Nah, bastards is a compliment. We like that shit around here. Because of all these fucking opportunists are paving the path for redemption, for the normalization, for the renormalization of liberal Zionists within the left. JVP was a huge part of that. A huge part of that. You've seen how Norm Finkelstein glorifies time and time again, oh, these young Jewish people. And I've been asking since day one, show me one major Jewish institution that is anti-Zionist. Because where do you think all these Zionist critical Euro-American Jewish people are going to send their kids to school to be indoctrinated into? To be better Zionists. To promote liberal Zionism in a way that will safeguard the Zionist project in the future. The Zionist project will learn from this moment. And what we're going to see once Benjamin Netanyahu is ousted, what we're going to see is a redemption arc. And it's going to be led by Bernie Sanders. If he lives long enough, I promise you, we will see Bernie Sanders in the Zionist entity standing alongside whoever the fuck becomes their liberal prime minister or what have you. Whoever the Zionist Gandhi is, Bernie Sanders will be standing next to them if he lives long enough. Write that shit down. Say that I was wrong. If he lives long enough, we're going to see it. We're going to see it. If he's over here helping to wash the sins away, the blood of Muslim people, both in Iraq and Afghanistan, from Graham Plattner's hands. We don't know who covered up that Totenkopf SS tattoo from Graham Plattner. For all we know, Bernie could have grabbed that shit and covered it up himself. For all we know. All right, where are we at? Linstag. I forgot where I was, but here we go. Alexa Avilés. My statement on New York 10. Pa'lante. All right. For immediate release. All right. In recent weeks, I have received an outpouring of support from community members encouraging me to run for Congress. If your community is out here saying you need to run, if you have done a great enough job to where your community says, we want to support you in gaining more political power. Respectfully, that's the wet fucking dream of any politician. And to be honest, if we're talking about a democratic process, that's how it should fucking go. Thank you for the fucking work you've done. We're going to support you to do more, to have more power. In recent weeks, I have received an outpouring of support from community members encouraging me to run for Congress. My neighbors know that the era of dark money in politics, of letting AIPAC and the real estate lobby call the shots, must end. They know we need a real fighter to take on Donald Trump's violent mass deportations agenda. I am so grateful that many in my community called on me to run. So what happened? So what went wrong? Is there a sickness in the family? Are you feeling well? Some blackmail shit that you just, yeah, you know what? I don't want something coming to light. Nope, none of that. Was your community wrong? Were you fucking bamboozling them this entire time, tricking them with the work that you're doing? Nope, not that. Do you just not want power? Do you just not want more power? Do you just want to stay friendly neighborhood politician? You don't have greater ambitions. You don't want to have the ability to do more for your community and those surrounding communities. Nope, it's not that. However, after conversations with family and movement, I have decided that there is far too much to be done at home in Brooklyn and at City Hall. As a council member, I've been leading the fight to protect immigrant New Yorkers, building a greener, livable future in deeply affordable housing. We have an affordability agenda to win at home in Brooklyn. What's clear from my years in public service is that Dan Goldman has fundamentally failed our communities. A split field. A split field. Wait, why are you bringing up a split field when you just told us in the last paragraph that you talked to your family, to your community, and you said, you know what, we could do more in this local space. So why would you bring up a split field? Why is that even a concern? Why is that even mentioned? If your main focus of you, your family, and your community is not the splitting of a field. And last time I heard, I think that's called fucking democracy, right? Splitting the field, allowing your voters, your constituents to decide for themselves who they want to support. A split field runs too great a risk of allowing him another damaging term. I'm not done talking on the corporate powers that have destroyed our city and country, but have decided that my best use of energy is not running for Congress. Thank you to my comrades. The fight for a dignified City Hall has only just begun. Pa'lante. Well, it's not pa'lante. It's en posición, in position. Oh, man. I mean, I think that highlighting the split field thing is the most important aspect of this statement. Why would that be a fucking factor? So let's be honest, Mamdani pushed her out. Let's be honest, Mamdani pushed her out. Look, I said I disagreed with Alejandro Ocasio-Cortez and Zohran Mamdani for coming out here and using their influence on the DSA to stomp out any chance of OSA getting endorsed. However, I understood why the DSA would wait to endorse him for some time in the future. I understood that aspect of it. This, though, this is all behind closed doors. This is all behind closed doors. So we're seeing now that Mamdani will always prioritize his backroom deals over the so-called democratic process, over his allegiance to, his commitment to the democratic socialists of America. The democratic socialists of America. The what? The democratic socialists of America. Every single fucking time. And he's mayor-elect. This is how he's moving as mayor-elect. We saw how he moved in the campaign trail. The disgusting, I mean, it should have been censored, really. I'm thinking about the children here. To witness a grown man inhale a boot. Inhale a boot on Fox News. You know, it's a whole thing where it's kind of like, well, you really can't define pornography. You know it when you see it, right? I'm sorry, but it wasn't just the boot. He took the socks with him. And I'm pretty sure, and this was against my will, because there was no trigger warning. There was no not safe for work label. I'm pretty sure I saw Zohran Mamdani's tongue wrap around Jessica Tisch's big toe. It could have been her pinky, but it just looked like a big toe. I'm just saying. I saw it, you saw it, we all saw it. And apparently, he was doing that kinky shit behind closed doors too. Again, no judgment. Everybody has their things. I get it. But to do it publicly like that, think of the children. Think of the children, please. Won't someone think of the children? So are we surprised in any regard that if that's how he's acting on the campaign trail, this is how he's acting as mayor-elect? What the fuck are we to expect when he actually takes office? What then? But we have to have hope. We have to have... Yo, how the fuck did you find blue feet? Yeah. Let me pull this up real quick, just because this is too good. I was just watching this, and it's towards the end. And look, I'm not a hater. Sam Cedar was a goofy ass looking dude when he was younger. Age has benefited him greatly. He looks amazing. He looks amazing. I'm a hater, but I'm an honest one. Let me find the moment. Okay. 101. Oh, that's funny. Also, I'm never going to bother to learn this individual's name. It is fucking funny how she is treated by Jessica Welch. It is, oh man, or Jennifer Welch, I don't know. It is too fucking good. It is too fucking good. She treats her like her little fucking like entertainment monkey. Like dance, monkey dance, and then she doesn't. She literally like Krog, like pull the lever. Like that's what she, that is her. It is so fucking pathetic. Like you're like, what, you know, and I'm not being ageist about this, but you're like in your 60s probably. And you're like, have this like cool girl dynamic with your co-host. It's pretty fucking sad. It's pretty fucking sad, man. Grow the fuck up. Be your own fucking person. They look like villains in a rom-com. They are fucking villains.
I'm just like, is that bullshit?
So she
had it or hit it, Bill Maher.
Don't care about that.
What it matters. Enjoys. You can walk street and you from food that he's, you know, as well. Like and I think, you know, it's going to be a better place.
Oh shit! I missed it.
The dive. It's just. And you know, like that, like you know, it's just your life is just richer. And you've one place.
My bad.
Because he, you know,
hit it, Zohran Mamdani.
There we go. My bad. I went too far back.
And libertarians, I cannot stand.
Yeah. All right. Had it or hit it, Zohran Mamdani.
I'll hit it. I mean, I'm very, I'm incredibly excited for Mamdani. What it means both for New York and what it could mean nationally.
This is 1 day ago. 1 day ago. 1 fucking day ago.
Democratic Party.
For the Democratic Party and just, I think New York is going to become, I think, a much more fun place because he enjoys the city.
He's
and
cool.
He understands what makes the city great.
Oh, I fucking hate them so much, bro. I fucking hate them so much because it's like, this feels so abusive sometimes. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I feel like a bully. I really do. I understand these people are older than me. I understand they're more educated than I am. I understand they're wealthier than I am. I understand they have a larger platform than I do. But it feels like bullying, you know? Because their thinking is so fucking shallow. It's gonna be fun. Yeah. New York is gonna be so much more fun. Fucking roller skates for everyone. This is the level of political analysis that they can provide. Not, hey, I'm concerned. I was initially hopeful, now I'm concerned because of Jessica Tisch. Yada yada, right? None of that shit. So endorsing Hakeem Jeffries. I'm concerned about all the walk back. But I would even allow you to say, but I'm hopeful that this is all for a greater political strategy. But instead, what the fuck do we get? It's gonna be fun.
For the Democratic Party.
For the Democratic Party, and just, I think New York is going to become, I think, a much more fun place.
New York is going to become a much more fun place. Like, I know Mamdani was calling for like free public transportation, but did that include like fucking roller coaster rides, bumper cars? Like, what are we doing here? What do you mean more fun? I've never have I looked at a politician. I've never looked at a political platform. I've never looked at an agenda and looked for the fun section. Is Mamdani fucking Willy Wonka? Like, what are we doing here, bro? Fun? It's gonna be more fun? But it makes perfect sense what he says after this. That goes alongside Mamdani's exploitation and weaponization of identity politics in terms of being an immigrant. And again, the myth of the so-called American melting pot.
Because he enjoys the city.
He's
and
cool.
He understands what makes the city great, which is that, like, you can walk. I mean, you must be experiencing this.
Every day's a great day in New York.
You walk down the street and you've seen people from countries you've never seen people from. You've interacted with.
Getting fucking kidnapped and swept off the streets in collaboration with Jessica Tisch. And yes, standing aside is collaborating with ICE. And we've seen it time and time again how the NYPD prevents protesters from doing anything remotely close to these fucking federal agents, to ICE.
With people from places that you never even thought about. You've had food that like, I grew up from Worcester, and it was like.
What do white people always do? Reduce us to fucking food. Every single fucking time. What do white people always do? They reduce us to food. We are not human beings. We are fucking objects to them, to either be sexualized or to be consumed. Quite often both. Food you never even heard of before. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Now he talks about living like alongside white people and yada yada, all that stuff. But we're talking about politics, and you're like, oh, the food that you can have is, bro, like, this sounds like just like the white college students talking about having a diversity day on campus and being like, oh yeah, let them bring their tacos, which is the non-spicy salsa. Man. And you see why he can't have someone intelligent be his co-host? Can't let that shit happen again. God damn it, bro. God damn it. Ay. Where's the... All right, look, we're going to get right back to this. I need to grab a snack or something. I've been actually yapping for most of this fucking hour and 24 minutes. I don't know how y'all put up with me, but I appreciate it. This is where we were at.
Well, I don't
Settlers,
get
Europeans.
Hold on.
You're talking about white people, or are you talking about Jewish people?
No. I mean,
white people. Why are you pulling this anti-Semitism thing? Not even Sam's pulling it.
Well, the shoe fits.
No, I think look.
Have some self-respect. Okay, blood
listen,
quantum.
I think within the context of this country, but why? I also think.
Thank you for understanding that.
No, I do. I do understand it. I also think the idea that the white Europeans in this country are going to give up the levers of power is also fantastical.
Yeah, not peacefully. That's for sure.
No, listen.
How do you
I don't.
look how Emma reacted.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. No, hold on. No. Wait a second. Listen. I don't understand what you get out of this. Like you're talking about a
Eurocentric.
Yeah, no. I mean, but there's no one who's listening to this show, who's watching YouTube right now, who is it doesn't necessarily think that it is what you're suggesting isn't impossible. And you're saying that there needs to be a violent overthrow, revolution of the United States.
I'm not saying that's what it is. That's reality. I'm not promoting anything here.
Okay.
I gave my last name.
You're saying that's what I mean by there needs to be.
Yeah.
Right? That's it's a necessity. There needs to be a violent overthrow of the U.S. government, and anything short of that is useless. I'm asking now, is useless or a waste of time or what?
No. My main argument here is what you're promoting in the way that you're approaching it by trying to redefine what anti-Zionism is, right? Again, I have made it very explicitly clear that I've never contemplated myself as a Zionist or an anti-Zionist ever. The only time neutral on a moving train.
What's that?
You're neutral on a moving train.
I've never defined myself as, you just accused me of saying that what I'm doing is anti-Zionism. And I have said explicitly many times, I have never considered myself a Zionist or an anti-Zionist. I don't label myself. Listen, I just simply don't. You just accused me of using a term that I've never employed. And
no, you tried to redefine what anti-Zionism is as simply being anti-apartheid.
When?
And I gave you even the data of the front half. 11-1, right before the end of the year in 2023.
Okay.
11-1, 2023.
On
the
November 1st,
portion,
I
literally stated.
I stated what? Do you have the whole quote? Because I know exactly what it was.
Then go ahead.
It was. I would never.
I
would never define myself as a Zionist or an anti-Zionist. I've never done that. And
exactly.
Yes.
Actually, can we switch?
Yes,
let me just switch up here. Let me just one thing. You invoke Fanon. Elaborate. You invoke Fanon and then punt it to me. Elaborate the relevant point you brought his name up.
No, I was referencing towards Sam asked how. I understand you're the leftist guard dog here.
No,
I get that. Your boss is your best friend.
I'm saying elaborate. You have the chance. Elaborate on Fanon. The relevant, you brought his name up. Go on.
Hold on.
Well, he was asking how, and I said through, right?
That's all you got to say, just violence. Fanon equals violence.
No,
that's all you have to say.
He asked me a specific question, and I answered.
Okay,
if you want to go through a whole retro,
we're dancing
this
all
is your job. I understand.
Is Yasser Arafat, was he an anti-Zionist?
Oh, he was a sellout. Right, the Palestinian Authority is a sellout, and you mentioned yourself that you wanted to see him burn alongside
Ariel
which
Sharon.
Prime Minister did you mention? Ariel Sharon. Why would you equate those two? Why would you equate the colonizer with the colonizer? Because I know you weren't referencing to him. I'm selling out the Palestinian liberation. So why did you equate those two things?
Why did I equate Arafat and because I both think they contributed to.
This is the issue.
Okay, well, but dude, here's the issue. No, here's the issue. You got to get your own show.
Both?
You got to get your own YouTube show.
Hey,
because
deculturation. This is where I started to call out people like you. That's
all you care about.
Deculturation. There it is. There it is. Deculturation.
Okay.
Check out.
And look, the best part about this is Sam Cedar followed me on Twitter when I had like fucking 200 people following me. This motherfucker's keeping tabs. He knows. He's a fucking fan. They're all fans. Here's the thing about white people, y'all, and you have to understand this. When they personally hate you, I'm not speaking like generally hating you. That's just racism, right? When they personally hate you is because they envy you specifically. Right? There's something about you that they can't be that reflects, you know, their shortcomings, their pitfalls within themselves. There was absolutely no reason for Sam Cedar to follow me on Twitter. And he stopped following me once this weird ass creepy Twitch, I think it was Brown too, shame. Obsessed with Anna Kasparian, I guess went looking through my followers. It was a while ago. And tagged Sam Cedar saying like, Sam, why do you follow this guy? And I replied to the dude being like, I don't fucking know why he does it. Not only do I not follow him, I've never said one fucking good thing about him, which is kind of a lie. Because he did accurately tell his WASP to back the fuck down with her false accusations about me being anti-Semitic, but hey, there you go. All right, where we at? Where we at? Look, that's not hard to do, Roses. That's not hard to do, though, unfortunately. That clip should be... You know, I'm thinking about making an actual official intro and hitting up Soli and being like, hey, like, you know, let's collaborate to make something fun. I don't know if I would want. I mean, it'd be a good time. It'd be funny. Fuck it. I'd probably do it. Am I secretly BFFs with Sam? Sometimes I wish that I could kind of care less about this stuff so I could be friendlier with people. And it would for sure make things easier, right? Like in the online space. But when I say that, like, I believe in like corporal punishment for adults. I don't think there's any book. I don't think there's any documentary. I don't think there's any movie. I don't think there's any music. I don't think there's any conversation that you can have with Sam Cedar that would make him anti-Zionist, because witnessing a genocide hasn't done that. So at that point, you just have to get a little proactive with the re-education process. Yeah, Tis Wasp. Should we stop calling her by her name? Just go full misogynist. The Wasp. Emma the Wasp Bigland. Jesus Christ, man. All right, let's knock this out over here. Enough of hearing me ranting with my nonsense. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. I appreciate y'all so much. Hit the notification bell when you want to know when I go live. If you want to know when I go live. That's Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. We're having a good time. We're having a good time. The super chat and super stickers are turned on. YouTube membership is turned on. But the Patreon is the way to go if you want to help support the channel. You get access to the Discord. $2 gets you into the door. And any help and any support is appreciated. And honestly, just get busy in the chat, y'all. We have some really good fucking dope people on here. The more the merrier. Talk your shit. Don't be scared, homies. All right. Lander will run for House seat with Mamdani's support, with this blessing. Brad Lander, the New York City comptroller, will run for a House seat in Brooklyn and Manhattan, challenging Representative Daniel Goldman in a Democratic primary. So we're going to read through this. And then after this, we're going to check out Hassan Piker's coverage on this. And then we're going to read a Substack piece that from just kind of like glancing through it, I think it's going to be very informative and provide us a analysis that I may be lacking, right? Let's see here. Let me make sure that I have the right. Give me 1 second, y'all. I want to make sure I have the right screenshot for what I'll be looking up shortly here. Nope. Maybe here. No, it came up way after. Jesus, okay. Un segundo. Okay, yeah, it's right here. Let me make sure I have this. I want to have this article up for later as well. I just don't know what. Look, I take snapshots, screenshots, fucking screen recordings of everything. And sometimes I'm missing like the most valuable portion of it, usually the fucking title. You know what I truly fucking hate? And it's been a big issue in like, I don't know, they call it like film Twitter or whatever, but people that will post screenshots of a movie and be like, oh, this movie's my favorite, isn't it beautiful? And purposely, they do this on fucking purpose. It's such a fucking white person thing to do. Not put the title of the film. It enrages me. It like, because the whole point of art is to fucking share it, to share that experience. If you love a song, a movie, a fucking painting, share. Wouldn't you want to share that fucking joy with other people? But because white hipsters, like, their identity is based on knowing the most obscure fucking bullshit and hogging shit like fucking Golem. They have to fucking, they just can't be bothered to actually fill people in. I can't understand it. It's enraging. Let's see if this will pop it up. Yeah, here we go. That's so fucking funny. All right, because they're going to bring this up shortly, so I want to make sure I have this. Actually. Fuck. It's not working. Okay, there it is. Appreciate y'all sticking around and putting up with me. Well, that's lagging for now, so I'll just let it do its thing. All right. I'm not buying these mangoes again, these dried mangoes. They're too sweet. They're way too sweet. No pican. Like, there's a little bit after. They're good, but they're just not. No pican suficiente. Brad Lander, the New York City comptroller, announced on Wednesday that he would challenge Representative Daniel Goldman, setting up a contentious Democratic primary that will be the potent test of a progressive movement's momentum. For those of you that don't know, this fool, Brad Lander, was part of the DSA. And guess when he quit? Guess when he no longer was part of the DSA? Can anyone take a wild fucking guess? What historic event happened a couple years back that would make Brad Lander no longer be part of the DSA? Any guesses? Ding, ding, ding. Yep. The counterinsurgent left. Emma Viglian, Hassan Piker, Sam Cedar are supporting Brad Lander, who, let's stop bullshitting around, quit the DSA after October 7th. Operation Alaska Flood. What more do you need? What more do you need to understand that this motherfucker is a Zionist through and through? But somehow he's still part of the progressive movement. Mr. Lander, who is backed by Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani, hopes to capitalize on the left-leaning roots of the district, which overwhelmingly supported Mamdani, a democratic socialist. In November, Mr. Lander earned the endorsement on Wednesday. Earned, all right. On Wednesday of Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, and the left-leaning Working Families Party. Now, he's always been with them. He stayed in the Families Working Party, which again, as I mentioned last time, the Working Families Party, the Working Families Party is essentially like just another, it's like DSA light. It's DSA light. I think it started, with good intentions, and I'm not saying they do malicious, evil things, but they're essentially an organization that is meant to bolster the so-called like left-leaning credentials of Democratic candidates. But again, unsurprising that Bernie Sanders, a Zionist, would support and advocate for Brad Lander, a Zionist. Unsurprising that Elizabeth Warren, an opportunist through and through, would support Brad Lander. Mr. Goldman narrowly won the seat, which covers the southern part of Manhattan and parts of Brooklyn, in a crowded primary in 2022. He has drawn praise for sharply questioning Trump's administration officials, but his more moderate position on Israel and the war in Gaza have angered left-leaning constituents. Again, the war in Gaza, New York Times, right? So is this the New York Times or New York Post? Yeah, the New York Times. Unsurprising. Where are we? Mr. Lander said in an interview that voters wanted an even stronger voice to oppose President Trump, to fight for immigrant rights, and to help Mr. Mamdani in Washington. New Yorkers want Congress members who will step up and fight back against Trump and work with the mayor for a city that everyone can afford and where everyone is welcome, he said. Our mayor needs an ally in Washington and not an adversary. So I wonder if Hakeem Jeffries will endorse this fool or not. That'll be interesting. Yet Mr. Lander released a campaign video that cast him in a more gentle light, likening him to Fred Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. The nearly 3-minute video, we're definitely not watching that shit, makes use of animated birds flitting across the screen. This motherfucker's a Disney princess. And ends with Mr. Lander crooning, "Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor?" I hope he gets fucking sued. That is so fucking disrespectful. Have you all seen the documentary Have y'all seen the fucking Mr. Rogers documentary? Woo! Boy, did I fucking cry. Holy shit, did I cry. Great fucking documentary. There is a an episode in The Pit. I'm not a huge like medical show fan. I tried House. It was a couple episodes were fun. Never finished it or never watched it completely. Scrubs I've seen like 3 times. You know, the revivals always suck. Hopefully this one's not too bad, but Scrubs is always a good time as well. But I watched The Pit because it beat out Severance. And sure, season 2 was not as great as season 1, but like, how can you top season 1, right? And a lot of the criticism that people had that was like, oh, it was season 2 is moving away from the analysis or the criticism of, you know, capitalism, this and that. I'm like, good. I don't need some fucking watered down fucking show on Apple TV to entertain me about Marxist theory, right? Why would I want them to fuck that shit up? It's gonna ruin the show. Yeah, make it about the fucking love interest. Make it about weird fucking cult shit. That's cool. That's fun enough. But if you're gonna make it about like fucking, then I'm gonna have to turn on my brain for real. And they're just gonna fuck it up even worse. So whatever. But yes, check out the Mr. Rogers documentary. It's man. But The Pit, there's an episode that kind of touches on you know, that kind of world, Mr. Rogers, Sesame Street. Oof. Man, brutal. All right. He acknowledges in the video that some of his messages could be viewed as corny. To provide a visual counter to the neighborly fist bump he exchanges with his store worker, a television in the background displays footage of his arrest by federal agents at a Manhattan immigrant court while escorting immigrants from the building in June. I seen part of that. I mean, understand that all these politicians, when they show up, and even if good things happen in the result of he was able to escort some family members, some individuals safely out of the court when ICE was trying to apprehend him. He's been arrested, all that stuff. All that stuff is done for political points. I don't think it's done for any morality, because of morality. Why? Because a Zionist, and even a liberal Zionist, is an opportunist first and foremost. In the sense that, how is it that you supposedly oppose the kidnapping by the state of immigrants here, and yet support the kidnapping of the indigenous population in Palestine by the Zionist entity? It's just opportunism. So I don't believe that he actually has any moral, or that his heart is moved by seeing these kidnappings. For him, it's just a political opportunity. Mr. Mamdani said in a statement that Mr. Lander was a true leader who had unwavering principles, deep knowledge, and sincere empathy. I haven't read this before. That's fucking hilarious. So now I know I'm correct. Now I know I'm right. Mamdani says that he has these qualities, unwavering principles. I know that he's spineless. Deep knowledge, for me, that just reads opportunist. He knows how the fucking game works. And sincere empathy, he knows how to fake it. He knows how to fake sincerity and empathy. I know people freeze their grapes But it had to be put on that if you put tahini on them, they taste pretty good. But what I did, because the tahini's gonna fall off, they don't have to be frozen for that. I think it's better if they're not frozen to put on tahini. But if you cut them in half, a little bit more time consuming. But if you cut them in half, it's gonna expose the insides of the grape. And like that gooey sensor is gonna hold on to the tahini better, so it doesn't just roll off the grapes. So if you came here for tahini recommendations, you're in the right place. All right. He has been a trusted ally and a partner of mine, and I'm proud to support him, as I know he'll continue delivering for those who need government to show up for them the most. Mr. Goldman did not endorse Mr. Mamdani after he won the Democratic nomination, and he took issue with Mr. Mamdani's view of Israel. Mamdani Rosen, sorry, what the fuck? I apologize if this is shady. But y'all put tahini on everything. I don't think you were here for the story analogy nature. Some of the younger like the younger generations in my family, a couple of years difference, but still younger, they would put tahini in water. They would grab a cup of water and put tahini in it. So, while you're not wrong, you are racist. No, quite literally. We'll put it on everything. I don't know if you heard that corny ass song by Tech Nine. Joyner Lucas is on it, and oh shoot, what's the artist that retired? What's his name? He wrote the track about suicide. He's white, but his dad's black. Anywho, Logic. They have a song called Sriracha. If you haven't heard it, I'm not gonna play it here. But there's a song called Sriracha, and the hook is catchy. I'm not gonna lie, the hook, Tech Nine's hook is catchy. Sriracha. I'll randomly say that shit. But it's so fucking stupid. It's so fucking bad. And it should have been Hillary Clinton's fucking campaign song. It's too fucking funny. And now that I gotta write this down, I gotta get Sriracha. I haven't had Sriracha in the fridge in a while. And last time we grabbed like I don't know, for me, like I don't like grabbing single plate like Chinese food. You gotta make it a catering event. Not literally, but like you gotta get like fucking boxes, right? And make them, you're eating that shit for the week. I'm not a Logic listener, Linstack. You have said some things, you know, too comfortable with these accusations. I said Tech Nine. It's a Tech Nine song that happens to feature Joyner Lucas and Logic. And the only reason I know about the song is because of Tech Nine and the drama that came about that song. Where literally Logic, being fucking Logic, talks about it in the song saying, "I'm sorry it took me so long to get you this track." Like, why the fuck would you include that in the song? That like, oh yeah, by the way, I've been too busy being famous. Here you go. That's also bad. Yes, but it's not as bad. You know, it was mainly a Joyner Lucas track, maybe. But look, there's levels to it, is what I'm saying. If you accuse me of being a Logic listener. I would rather be accused of being a Joyner Lucas listener. If you're going to accuse me of being a Joyner Lucas listener, I'd rather be accused of being a Tech 9 listener. I'm just saying, there's levels to this. And I'm trying to get the lightest sentence possible. All right. This is why we can't get shit done, y'all. The whole chat's getting banned. Pancho sent me a bunch of Chicano they are. The song's called Sriracha. Like and I'm saying that it should have been Hillary Clinton's campaign song. It's very much corniness. Pancho sent me a bunch of artists, Chicano artists, hip hop artists, that I don't have to be going through and educate myself on them. So I might force y'all to listen to some of that shit. I'm just not a fan. Maybe I can be. Maybe I can be saved. Especially because comparing it to like Mexican rap. All right. Let's get to it. Where are we? Maddie Rosen, a spokeswoman for Goldman's campaign, said in a statement that the congressman was focused on stopping the Trump administration from what they're doing to immigrant families in his district right now. He's proud of his progressive record in Congress and will deal with Brad and other challengers in the new year. Ah, shit, I like that. We're like, sheesh. All right. Mr. Lander, who like Mr. Goldman, is Jewish, has been a vociferous critic of Israel's handling of the war. Many Democrats now share Mr. Lander's concerns, and a New York Times Siena post showed that New Yorkers overall are now more likely to sympathize with Palestinians than with Israel. Mr. Lander said in an interview that he and Mr. Goldman agreed that Hamas attacks on October 7th was a war crime. So they're both Zionists, to be clear. But that only Mr. Lander believed that attacks on civilians by Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, were also war crimes. So he's a Bernie fucking Zionist. Okay, cool. That's how most residents of the district feel, he said. Finger on the pulse. Finger on the pulse. I love myself a good opportunist. All right. The Democratic Party in the district, New York's 10th, is one of the several that could be competitive. In the 12th district in Manhattan, 9 contenders are running to replace Representative Gerald Nadler, who is retiring. 9 is crazy, bro. 9 is wild. Let's see. You're not wrong, Martin. You're not wrong. I do need to do better. ¿Me comprendes, Méndez? No sé por qué no entiendo. Right? Just start full on control machete. But when I start seeing it, I always think of El Chavo. Right? Y'all know what I'm talking about? So there's this, now I'm super sidetracked, but here, really quickly, because the Tajín wasn't being enough. No, what was that fool's name? No, what was it? What was that little mascot called? Parody. Let me see here. I'm not gonna remember. I know Cholo de PlayStation is fucking funny, but that's not. Maybe it'll pop up if I do this. It's Don Cheto, but there was another character. ¿No era el escuincle? Martin, do you remember who I'm talking about? He wore like a I swear I might be the only political like streamer that will ever get demonetized. Their channel, like the video's gonna get demonetized because I'm playing Don Cheto. We're just going full fucking stereotype today. Martin, do you remember, or anybody in the chat? Do you remember that it was a mascot? He had like a big kind of football head shape, and he wore like a hat, and it was a guy in a suit, like in a mascot suit. And he also sang like parodies of songs, like a really high pitch. He was supposed to be like a kid. I don't know if it's like Mexican mascot singer or something like that. But now everybody does that show, The Masked Singer, that isn't gonna work. Shoot, who was it, y'all? I see I need more fucking frijoleros in the fucking Mexican, yes, sí, that's what it is. Prefiero el fútbol. Thank you so much. You're so right. El Moro, that's who it was. Moro. That's so funny. We had to listen to this. We have to listen to it. Fuck it. I'm getting. Look, super chats, super stickers are turned on. The Patreon is up and running because I am not monetizing this one. But didn't he come out like live? Oh yeah, here he is. Look at that. There are some very, very like troubling tracks. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see here. I'm just making sure if it's safe to see, not so much listen to. Yeah, fuck, I gotta educate you on this.
Está castigado. ¡Mamá! ¡Jefa! ¿Qué quieres, mijo? Estoy ocupada. ¿Ya puedo prender la tele? ¡Que no! Ay, mamá, ya levántame el castigo ya.
So he's grounded. He's grounded, and his friends are asking him to come out. He wants to know if he can turn on the TV, and she's like, "No, you're still grounded."
I voted for Kamala Harris. You got a problem?
Martin, thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, I am. I'm a pocho from the city, Terase, and I don't know a lot of that Mexican TV stuff. Oh, okay, yeah. No, I feel you. It's, like, that's why I didn't really take to heart when Brad Panay was like, oh, like you're no sabo, or it's not what no sabo means. Or like trying to question my Latinidad, because I'm like, bro, I grew up with this shit. Like, whether I liked it or not, I grew up with this stuff, and it's embedded in my fucking mind. And nothing anyone says is gonna change that or alter that reality. So So it just fucking makes me laugh, man. But this stuff is like how they indoctrinate us into liking banda and corridos and all. This is how the Mexican government indoctrinates young Chicano youth. Why the hell did anyone think that it was appropriate to put fucking Lupillo Rivera in a song targeted to children while he's at a bar? Oh, I fucking love us so much, bro. Oh, I wonder why we're all fucking alcoholics. We're not, but you know. All right, let's get back to it. Fuck, I'm gonna get a ding for that. Y'all might as well just hear this shit too. Let's see a live version though. So y'all can see the fucking shit that I grew up with. Or grew up around, I should say. Is this one it?
Where you from, ese? ¿Qué pasó? Where you from? ¿De Michoacán? En mi troca del año ando con mi gente. Muevo de a kilo, de a grapa o de a 20. Fino corriente, depende el ambiente. Andamos como Cornelio, idos de la mente. Nuestras vidas son vidas de malandrín.
That's it, I can't do this. All right. That's the stuff that Pancho sent me. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Yeah, literally, like every fucking Mexican TV is just questionable for children. It's just different. All right. Yeah. Oh yeah, the colorism is forever present. All right, where were we? You brought on the war flashbacks? Yeah. Yeah, Jenny. You know what's funny? When I was doing catering, so when I was in high school, I worked for a friend's family's catering company. It was his extended family. And you know, bajo de la mesa, just, you know, making some money on the side and shit.
I'm afraid of like talking to
God, you didn't
people
subscribe.
who are outside of my race.
I appreciate it. And no, Chisperito también, but I have too much respect for that. So anywho, yeah, what was I saying? So I was usually we would cater quinceañeras, bodas, all that shit. Some, you know, a couple times we catered a graduation ceremony for like younger kids in this Catholic church, which was always like, it was brutal because it was on the second floor and they had these like very, very narrow stairs, like outside stairs that we'd have to go up. And so what's difficult about it is when you're carrying the food, the containers of the food to keep it warm, you have to keep it level so nothing spills even within the container, even though everything's wrapped up. It's just gonna make it messier. So when you're lifting stuff and it's a fucking second floor and it's a hassle, you have to lift it to the level of the person either above you or below you to make sure that nothing spills inside of the fucking container. And man, by the time you'd be done, like just not even setting up, just getting all the food upstairs, you'd be fucking exhausted. And one time we catered a funeral, which was like a trip. It was a real bummer. And But in that cemetery was a cemetery that Jenny was buried at. So afterwards, you know, some of the coworkers, because I was one of the younger guys there, were like, oh, you know, ¿quieres ver la tumba de Jenny? And I'm like, not really, but I don't want to be in this like depressing ass fucking like atmosphere. So I'm like, yeah, I'll go with you. And sure enough, like we got there and people, like, it was a random fucking day of the week, I'm pretty sure. Or no, it couldn't have been a week because I was going to school. So a weekend. But there was nothing special about the weekend. And people were still there visiting her grave, which I thought was, you know, a beautiful thing. I didn't really grow up with her music in general. I'm more like Alejandra Guzman than that side of things. And if I do listen to like that ranchera corrido style, it's older stuff. Like Irma, what's her name? Irma. Some of the older folks help me here. Irma, no, Beltran. Irma. I don't remember her name. Anywho, let's get back to it. My dad made us listen to Don Cheto every morning on our way to school. That is so funny. Oh man, when they call in with the dramas, when they call in with the fucking chisme, top tier shit. All right. And you'd be like in fucking 3rd grade. Okay, back to this. The Democratic Party in the district, New York's 10th, is one of the several that could be competitive. In the 12th district in Manhattan, 9 contenders are running to replace Representative Gerald Nadler, who is retiring. In the Bronx, Assemblywoman Amanda Septimo, a young ally of Mr. Mamdani, is planning to run against Representative Richie Torres. According to 2 people familiar with the matter, Miss Septimo will join, or Septimo, right? Which is another good rant. Will join a field of challengers that include Michael Blake, a former state assemblyman, and Nemoring, a legal aid lawyer. Nemoring. Sela PSL Andre Easton is also running against Richie Torres, but as it should be known, Michael Blake is just like Brad Landner, who has run for every position available. Oh, okay, so he's like just a careerist politician. Is it Lola Beltran that I was thinking about? No, it wasn't Lola, because Lona is younger, no? Was it Lola? No, it wasn't Lola Beltran, my bad. It was Irma something Serrano or something like that. No, because Paloma Negra, no, definitely wasn't Lola Beltran. Is it not Irma Serrano? Yes. Oh my goodness, chat. Sorry. If you have not listened to Irma Serrano, fuck it. We're doing it. La Martina is a great fucking track. Yeah, we'll listen to that one. Fuck it. We're doing it. This is what y'all get for distracting me. I was on a roll. I even behaved in the start and just went straight into it. This is one of my favorite fucking songs. Is that she's singing from the perspective of the scorned lover, the husband, right? But this is an old fucking track. And right off the bat, she was 15. You know, she's singing in the perspective of the scorned husband. She was given to me when she was 15. And then does she say it's 16 is when she betrayed me? Am I not mistaken here? Let's see if it has that. It doesn't have it. After, her voice is fucking top tier. I love her voice so much. So basically, when the husband comes home and he realizes that she's not in her color, no estás en tu color, meaning like she's flushed, right? That she was doing something, she was getting busy as the, you know, the woman. saying like, "Oh, I just couldn't sleep. I just couldn't sleep. You know, why do you distrust me? Why don't you trust me?" Right? Excuse me. Whose gun is that? Whose watch is that? Whose horse is that in the stable? Oh man, I love it. It's drama. It's so fucking good, man. And this music video is just fucking gorgeous as well. And she goes, "Oh, that horse? No. Your pops brought that horse. It's yours. So you go to your youngest sister's wedding." She was quick with this song. She's like, "Damn, like you know, young men, why don't you understand that like women also have, you know, rights, right? Autonomy. Like she wanted it, and it's her right to to get it." There was no sleeping. Yeah, that's the issue. So he grabs her by the hand and takes her to the family. Then he's like, "Oh, I'm here returning your daughter to you because she betrayed me." Like, look, mi yerno, my son-in-law. The church gave you my daughter to you. She's yours now. If she betrayed you, I'm not at fault. Father of the year, ladies and gentlemen. Meaning that then and there, he shoots her 6 times. And the owner of the horse didn't even return for the seat. Very tragic, very beautiful song. It doesn't, I mean, it doesn't get better than this. Both the story, the vocals, the instruments, the music itself, like just collectively, this is one of my favorite songs. It's too good. It's too fucking good. Tragic, and speaks it talks about everything, right? Patriarchy, el machismo, women's autonomy. She's just 15. She's already getting married off. The patriarchy of going to the father and being like, look, you sold me, you know, spoiled goods almost, right? Or like yeah, like here, I'm returning this to like the store where I purchased it from, quite literally purchased it from. And the father's like, "Nah, bro, like that isn't my responsibility anymore." The church, again, the religious aspect of it all that normalized all this shit, gave her to you. That's your property. So what does he do? Shoots her down, 6 bullets, and her lover never to be seen again. Beautiful fucking song. Very tragic. Really like top tier shit. So I gave you the silly stuff, and this is a little bit, you know, more heartbreaking, more somber stories. Forever distracted up here. Yahoos don't help. But I appreciate it. And for sure, like Irma Serrano is just love her vocals, and she hits those pipes like crazy. All Mexican folk music seems tragic. It literally is. It literally it's that. It is forever that. But it's so poetic and ahead of its time, and it's so honest and unflinching about the realities of life, of, you know, the machismo, the patriarchies, you know, the sexism, all that is present even in this story. And quite oftentimes you'll hear a lot about, you know, how that toxic masculinity, and it's not said that way, but leads to the death of oneself or the others around you, of hurting those around you. How oppression works, right? Subjugation. Oh man, it's so fucking good. It's so beautiful. But again, when you could sing like that, she could have been reading the phone book. I would have been fucking bumping that shit. But yeah, especially when I'm like, you know, feeling a little down, this is what's blasting in my humble housing. All right, let's get back to it. Thank you for that. Honestly, genuinely, thank you for that rabbit hole. It is one of my favorite songs. And I have, you know, now everything's online, but if I had a CD, that shit would have been beat up from just replaying that track alone. But her vocals are something else. All right, where are we? Where are we? Where are we? And Antonio Reynoso, the Brooklyn borough's president, recently announced that he would run for a seat in Brooklyn and Queens, and a seat in Brooklyn and Queens being vacated by Representative Nadia M. Velasquez. Last month, Mr. Mamdani discouraged another progressive challenger, Che Ose, an ally, from running against Representative Hakeem Jeffries, the top House Democrat. But his decision to endorse Mr. Lander demonstrates his willingness to confront the Democratic establishment. How? I mean, you have to understand that Alexa was like preemptively squashed, pushed out, didn't even get the opportunity that Che Ose had because Zohran Mamdani knew that she would get the full endorsement of the DSA because she's done the work, because she's been there, because she's doing the right fucking shit. That's why. And so how do you avoid democracy from taking place? Backroom deals. Hey, nope, cálmate. Nada de eso pa'lante. No. Stay in fucking place. Damn, so fucking tragic. Let's see here. And how is Mr. Lander confronting the Democratic establishment? I mean, he's not a radical. He's not presenting anything that is going to be fundamentally different. Let me move this over here. From the new standard of the Democratic Party. What we have to understand, and I'm sorry that you're going to hear some audio things. I think that's fine. What we have to understand is that what the DSA is essentially fighting for, what Zohran Mamdani is fighting for, is a new status quo within the Democratic Party. Not a radical one, not transforming the party, not a political revolution that Bernie Sanders all sheepdogged us with. This is barking to get us back inside the DNC's corral. It's none of that. It's just a new phase for the Democratic Party. A new brand for the Democratic Party to circle the wagons. Let's see. Mr. Goldman, a former federal prosecutor, and Levi Strauss, heir, won his seat in 2022 by beating several progressive candidates who split the vote. So instead of, I mean, look, the problem is with Alexa claiming that, oh, you had to splitting the vote bullshit. Well, if you had the DSA endorsement, which we all agree, we all have to accept the reality that she would have gotten it. Then the question would be, why would Mr. Lander split the vote himself? I think that if at this point, that if you fail to get the DSA endorsement, much like Nomiki Kantz from the Majority Report, who Sam Cedar continued to endorse despite him claiming that he would support anyone that had a DSA endorsement, and was it Cristina Gonzalez? Which again demonstrates that Sam Cedar has no political principles. It would be Mr. Lander over here, Brad Lander, who's at fault for splitting the vote, not Alexa. Let's see here. Ryuka Tomo. I'm genuinely and completely disappointed by this move. Now we know what kind of conversations he's willing to have when off camera. Yeah, I mean, look, it's difficult not to become hopeful. You do have to become realistic, not jaded, but realistic. If you're running within the Democratic Party, at this point, that should say it all. Just call me Tomo? All right, for sure. So at this point, we just have to scrap the whole Democratic Party. We're in that position where the genocide of Palestinians should have been the end of the Democratic Party as we know it. Speaking about Tomo Pancho, drinking music to be sad to. I mean, look, the whole, point of that, of el, I keep wanting to say el chavo, but it's not el chavo, el morro. The whole point of that music video, even if it's directed at kids, I mean, you see Lupillo at the bar, not partying, but bummed out. And the kid is bummed out. That he's punished and that he's in his room. And it's about like being depressed and being sad and drinking and consoling yourself through music. It's our therapy. I mean, and it's a bummer to say, but some of the most intimate conversations that you have, especially with, men of your age, men in general, but, of your demographic, is sitting around listening to this type of music and drinking. Some of the best, most heartfelt conversations I've had have been with friends and families and drinking and listening to that type of music. And on the flip side, some of the more violent moments have come about in the same fucking environment, doing the same exact thing. And that's because of the alcohol, But in order for us to kind of put down our guard sometimes, we need to be, or we rely on alcohol. And it's heartbreaking. It's sad. I'm trying, I've never really, fortunately, never struggled with drinking. I know many of us do. I never had that problem. It makes me pee too much. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm sorry, but TMI, but I just never saw the point of it. And that's why I started leaning more into like, liquor in general. But even then, it's kind of like, not really my thing. But when I was sober, when I was proactively sober, which wasn't that difficult, for like 3 years or something like that. It was along the time that I was vegan. But it wasn't that big of a deal for me because I wasn't a big drinker. I was a big smoker when I was younger. Cannabis. But you do see a lot of things when you're the only sober one at a gathering. And you see the unflattering aspect of things. But that definitely did help me realize how dependent we are on it. My upbringing was a little different because there wasn't actually a lot of alcohol in my upbringing, contrary to the stereotype, because of how just tragic it was. It was a very tragic impact of alcohol, prior to even my birth, prior to like, it was so bad 2 generations before even me. It sucks to say. It was so bad. Things got so bad that the following generations was just complete banned on alcohol in gatherings. For a fucking Mexican family to ban alcohol entirely. That should let you know how bad things got. And I only know bits and pieces of stories. Like a true Mexican family. You get a little bit. You get a little bit throughout the years as you get older. Or events happen and you ask like what's perceived as a fucking stupid question, or you make a uneducated comment that you think is neutral, and you get pulled aside and you're like, hey, this is why this can't happen, or hey, this is why you can't bring that shit up again. And they're like, now you're telling me? Now I'm the asshole, now you're telling me? When you could have just told me like years ago? You're too young. You wouldn't get it. Well, we don't like bringing that stuff up. I wasn't. That's fucking shit, bro. Yep. I feel that. All right. Where are we at? Okay. Mr. Goldman, a former federal prosecutor and Levi Strauss heir, won his seat in 2022 by beating several progressive candidates who split the vote. Progressive leaders seem determined not to let that happen again. Alexa Avilés, a city, or I keep saying Avilés, or is it Avilés? A city council member in Brooklyn who received support from the local chapter of the Democratic Socialists of America, as she weighed her own bid, said on Wednesday that she would not run. She said that Mr. Goldman had failed our community and that a split field runs too great a risk of giving him another term. Not that they all would have rallied behind you like they did again, with Mamdani. In fact, why didn't Mr. Brad Lander, do the same play he did with Mamdani to avoid splitting the ticket? We just saw them do it. But that would have resulted in another Brad Lander loss. Line Niu, a former assemblywoman who was a runner-up to Mr. Goldman in 2022, said on Tuesday that she would not run again. Oh, they're putting down the hammer. They're clearing the fucking road for Lander. Mr. Lander, 56, said that it was important for progressive Democrats to unite behind fucking convenient. It is important for progressive Democrats to unite behind one candidate and that he believed that he could bring voters together. I put myself on the line and I've been a team player. Now fucking reward me. Now pay the fuck up is what he's saying. Now give me mine. You got yours. Now give me mine. Damn. I put myself on the line and I've been a team player, he said. People across the district know me. As a city councilman, Mr. Lander represented part of the House district in the Park Slope neighborhood from 2010 until 2021. He won a competitive race for comptroller in 2021 and finished third in this year's mayoral primary. Mr. Lander drew attentions toward the end of the race when he and Mr. Mamdani cross-endorsed each other in the hopes that either of them would finish ahead of former Governor Andrew Cuomo. You can't do that again, buddy? You did it once. I mean, if stopping Goldman is number one priority, why not do it again? Since you're such a team player. The partnership led Mr. Lander to believe that he would join Mr. Mamdani at City Hall as a top deputy mayor. But Mr. Mamdani decided not to hire him for a senior position and encouraged him to run for Goldman's seat. His campaign video does not mention Mr. Goldman by name, but said that Mr. Lander would not do AIPAC's bidding. And again, just like AIPAC Tracker, just how Jennifer Welch, and who is it? Jasmine Crockett. It's not all about AIPAC, but just how they want to focus on Benjamin Netanyahu as the main evil, just as they want to focus on Donald Trump as the main evil. AIPAC is the other boogeyman to help cover for and ignore the real issue. You think so? The Puerto Rican community will not vote for him because of this. Oh, man. I think, and I'll be honest with you, I think Alexa is doing a disservice to her community by not stepping up. Oh, man, you should have done it. You should have definitely done it. And I mean, again, if AOC was able to be an incumbent because he was seen as being disrespectful to a brown woman, a young Latina, I don't see how Alexa couldn't have made the same play in terms of, look, Mr. Lander was denied a position in Mamdani's administration, and now he's trying to come after a seat that the DSA believes that we could win. Lander is not a DSA candidate. Lander is not DSA endorsed, not yet at least. So she should have ran it and been like, look, you stepped aside for a brown man. Why aren't you stepping aside for a brown woman? She could have done that play. She could have done that play. You agreed to work alongside Mamdani, a brown man. Why can't we make the same deal? What's the difference here between a brown man and a brown woman? Just asking questions. You could have done that angle for sure. MDR 216. Do not defend Lander again. No, I'm kidding. No, you're not defending Lander at all. You're educating us, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you so much. They say not to defend them, but Lander can't do a joint endorsement because there is no ranked choice voting for Congress. Thank you so much. I truly, truly appreciate that. You made me look like an idiot. No. Are you happy with yourself? No, honestly, thank you for that. That didn't even cross my mind. I was just kind of on the, hey, you're doing this for that. Why not for this? But if you're right, you're right. Like I'm sure you are. That makes total fucking sense. Then even better, step the fuck aside, Oh man. Thank you for that. Thank you. All right. Okay, yeah, the AIPAC bidding. A reference to the powerful pro-Israel lobby group, which has been a major donor to Mr. Goldman. He also says in the video that the oligarchy, I fucking hate Bernie Sanders so fucking much. The oligarchy. Fucking useless motherfucker. Yeah, and does not worry about capitalism. Does not worry about settler colonialism. It's the oligarchy. And you've seen this shit too with Graham Planner. I'm not afraid to name the enemy. I did 4 tours. Infantry. The oligarchy is the enemy. Yeah, do you have the oligarchy's blood on your hands? Oh no, you have the blood of the people of Iraq and Afghanistan. That's right. That's right. He also says in the video that the oligarchy should not be able to buy a seat in Congress.
Talking to people who are outside of my race.
Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. I'm assuming that's because of my great impressions. A reference to Mr. Goldman's wealthy supporters and the nearly $5 million of his own money the congressman pumped into his previous race. Mr. Goldman, 49, appeared on Monday at a news conference outside 26 Federal Plaza, the federal building where Mr. Lander was arrested, and called for legislation to stop the arrest of immigrants at routine court hearings. But Mr. Lander argued that Mr. Goldman had been too meek when we're facing a 5-alarm fire for our democracy. Voters want someone who will fight like our lives are on the line, because they are, Mr. Lander said. All right, where are we at here? I'll be right back with this.
Black Power Media, Breakthrough News, who actually do real journalism.
Okay. I will forever hate myself for getting too riled up, because even though I sounded cool, calm, and collected, I'm sure I did, I forgot to mention Electronic Intifada. There's a reason why they won't have them on.
All right. Yeah, I'll take care. Keep being white.
Yeah, I probably will.
I think it's a good chance we'll stay white. We'll still be white after this call.
I mean, Jeff Halper, who's wrote Decolonize Palestine, incorporates all this sort of concern into his preface. And yeah, it's an issue. Like, what do you, Ilan Papi also, what do you do with the people who are already here? Is it a massive violent struggle? If Breakthrough News, if that's what their stance is, good luck organizing around that.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the thing that I find mystifying is not so much what this guy's opinion was, is that it is so necessary to a movement that believes it has the ability, that it is actual achievable goal to get millions upon millions of people to give up on their own in, I don't know what process, but a violent process, let's say.
Yeah. He admitted that.
A violent process, or any process for that matter, in a quick period of time, for someone to believe all that is possible, and then to think that I know the best way for me to spend my time in achieving that goal is to even focus on anything that happens on this YouTube show is bizarre to me. It in many respects, it puts, because I think it's perfectly reasonable to have a different opinion. I happen to think that goal that he is pursuing is completely impossible. Now, I know from his perspective, I say that because I both have a lack of imagination and I don't want that goal to come about. But the idea that someone,
I love that he doesn't deny those things though. It's not a fucking imagination, bro. It's against your fucking interest. All right. So we read that one. This was... Okay, so this is going to dispel something here, which I think is very important. Because you're going to see this pushed a lot. And Hassan Piker's actually pushing this forward. That Brad Lander, as comptroller, divested from Israel, from the Zionist entity. That's a fucking lie. But the reason why it works is because technically that it's true. He did. But not for any BDS purposes, but literally as part of his job as comptroller. As part of his job as comptroller, he decided not to renew certain bonds with the Zionist entity because there was just too many eggs in that basket, right? And as his job required is to prioritize the financial well-being of the city. And they want to credit him for being, pro BDS in this. When he literally outright came out and said, no, that is not me. Here's this fucking idiot Emma Viglia. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Just real quick, just to have it up here. Let me see. Brad. Well, there's a photo of it. There's a photo of it here. Let me see. No, we'll read that shortly, but this is fucking hilarious. Whoa, even Matt Binder is on the fucking Brad Lander train. Pretty fucking pathetic. So this is gonna be okay. I do need to put that up then, or maybe not. Brad Lander, Israel, I guess. Okay, yeah, we have it. I'm pretty sure we have it. Oh, it's part of the daily news, but I think it's part of it. Oh, they use the same fucking... Okay, sorry I'm taking so long, y'all. My apologies. All right. Let me just make sure I have it here, because I have it in the thumbnail, Brad Lander. I guess Brad Lander BDS or divestment would have been better. New York Post, I guess. Shoot, am I really not gonna find it? I have the actual photo here. Let me see. What is it? Oh, this NY Post headline. Boom, boom. All right. So, from the New York Post, NYC Comptroller Brad Lander accused of divesting pensions funds from Israel. And Brad Lander replied, and again, this is from March 9th, 2025. This New York Post headline is false. I oppose and have always opposed divestment from Israel. Our pension funds are invested in many Israeli-owned companies. So anyone that's saying that, oh, he proactively or decided to divest from the Zionist entity, and that's a good thing, that's a positive thing, despite him being a liberal Zionist, is full of fucking shit. He did his job. He wasn't taking a political position. He diversified their fucking portfolio. He was not supporting BDS. He was not trying to harm the Zionist entity. He was diversifying their fucking portfolio. He was doing his fucking job. But you're going to see this. And so just remember this, because you're going to see this a lot. Let's see. NYC pension investment in Israeli arms firm under Comptroller Lander. Thorny issue for candidate Lander. All right. I hate when I can't fit all of this on screen. Give me 1 second. But that's because we're broke over here and we're not going to pay these fools. Let me see if I could barely see it, y'all. I'm sorry. I could barely see the whole screen myself. And then we went back. I'm trying to think how to make this more visible for everyone. But I can't because I'm going to have to keep doing this. So maybe like this. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, that's as good as it gets. All right, so y'all won't be able to read along with me this time. My apologies. All right. Under Comptroller Brad Lander's management, New York City's public pension funds have seen windfalls from investment in an Israeli arms manufacturer, a boon that could become an awkward pressure point for Lander as he mounts a 2026 primary challenge against Congressman Dan Goldman. Lander, a sharp critic of Israel's war in Gaza, now sharp critic, okay, made clear in an interview with the Daily News after his campaign launch Wednesday that he plans to use the issue as a cudgel against Goldman, who has come under fire from left-leaning Democrats for his support of Israel's amid the conflict, the genocide of Palestinians. But you see what I'm talking about? They don't give a fuck about Palestinians. They don't give a fuck about immigrants. They don't give a fuck about any one of us. It's a cudgel. It's a tool. It's a weapon that he can use to gain power. That's all we are to him. That's all Palestinians are to him. And the thing is, this is the whole the reward system for the lesser of two evils. This is the reward system for the lesser of two evils. Let's see. Actually, should I even try? No, okay. Let's just keep going. Quote, we both believe that Hamas attacks on Israel on October 7th were a war crime, but I, along with most of the district, also believe that Netanyahu's leveling of schools and hospitals is a war crime, and Goldsman's inability to reckon with that has rendered him unable to serve the district. Imagine what Alexa could say. Imagine what Alexa could say about this. Oh, you're both Zionists? Guess what? I'm not. Guess what? I'm not a fucking Zionist. The members of Congress set U.S. foreign policy, so they have a real role to play here. It's an American taxpayers' dollars that are paying for the 2,000-pound bombs that Netanyahu is dropping on civilians in Gaza. And the emphasis on civilians, as always. Palestinians that are resisting settler colonialism, those are fair game. The civilians, you can't touch those. Because they're behaving, right? Oh, because they're capitulating to their oppression. Those are great. That's the way that they tried, that they're framing it. But that line of attack is a fraught path for Lander for several reasons, including the fact that the city's public pension funds have, under his watch as a comptroller, increased investment in Elbit systems, the largest supplier of weapons to the Israeli Defense Force. Records reviewed by the news show as recently this past March. In fact, Lander touted that investment to an Orthodox Jewish radio host. Get the fuck out of here, bro. He's bragging about this shit in his fucking community. And instead of us asking Alexa from the DSA, hey, Avilés, do you support Puerto Rican independence? Instead of that being the conversation, what is the conversation being had within his community? Bragging about investing in this genocidal death machine system. And you have Hassan Piker, you have Emma Vigeland, you have Sam Cedar, you'll have Kyle KKK Kalinske, you'll have Crystal Ball, and now apparently fucking Matt, what's the other Matt's name? Not Matt Lieb, the other Matt. Just blanked out on his name right now. But the other majority report guy from Leftist Mafia. Matt Bender, excuse me. You'll have them circling the wagons for this guy who's apparently, when he's alongside the Jewish Orthodox community, will brag about blood money. This is who Mamdani is endorsing. As recently, Jesus, this sentence is weird. No, am I tripping out? As recently this past March, in fact, Lander touted that investment to an Orthodox Jewish radio host, a self-described liberal Zionist. Fucking bro, these people are fucking shameless. They really think that adding the liberal in front of Zionist is sufficient. And when you have liberal Zionist propagandists like Peter Beinart, like Sam Cedar, pushing this shit forward, that is their long-term goal. That is their objective. For liberal Zionism to be normalized again, to be the status quo, to be unquestioned on the left. And if you do question it, you're the fucking problem. You're the fucking issue. Purity politics. You're the one being divisive. Lander was at one point in his career more supportive of Israel. A decade ago, he and other local politicians visited the country, even as he faced protests for doing so from groups angered by Israel's treatment of Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank. So in other words, when the pressure is toned down, Brad Lander is going to go back to his old fucking ways. Now, Lander is honoring his anti-war attack line against Goldman as he already secured an endorsement for his campaign from incoming Mayor Zohran Mamdani, whose November election was boosted by a wide win in Goldman's Lower Manhattan and Brownstone, Brooklyn-based 10th Congressional District. A longtime critic of Israel's treatment of Palestinians, Mamdani said he believes that Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza. Lander is among a number of allies who could capitalize politically on embracing a similar stance, but the Elbit investment could complicate that. I mean, that should just... And here's the frustrating part. We're going to see with Hassan Piker. They'll excuse this by saying, well, he technically did divest some bonds. Well, he's better than Goldman. No. The conversation should be, why the fuck did Mamdani push out and pressure the DSA to not endorse and to not put forward Alexa Avilés? Because she's better than all these motherfuckers. That should be the conversation, but they try to control the narrative and contain that shit. Hey, get over it. This is the reality we're dealing with. Why? Why is this the reality we're dealing with? Because Mamdani said so. So we had to listen to our new fucking leader. It's pathetic. And then these are the first fucking people to start talking about manufacturing consent. First fucking people. The pension fund's holdings and Elbit exceeds $1.5 million, the new records show. That's part of roughly $300 million Lander's office has previously said the funds hold in total in various Israeli companies. The records show the city's largest fund, the Teachers' Retirement System, which covers pension payments for public educators, control the biggest chunk of the city's Elbit stock. Do you know how sadistic it is? Do you know what an absolute villain of a human being you have to be to say, oh, no, I oppose the Zionist war crimes. Bombing schools, how awful. While securing your teachers' retirement funds with blood money from the bombs dropped on the schools in Palestine. Do you know what a disgusting, vile creature you have to be to do that? To brag about that shit. Like Lander has. This is who Mamdani is endorsing. This is who Mamdani prevented the DSA from challenging. But it's a good thing that he's going to make shit fun, according to Sam Cedar. He's going to make New York City so much fun. Oh my goodness, can't fucking wait. Jesus fuck. That marked a 268% increase over the just shy of $280,000 the TRS fund held in Elbit a year earlier on June 30th, 2024. Disclosures show about half of the increase between 2024 and 2025 can be attributed to the value of Elbit's stock surging. I wonder what made that fucking stock surge. I wonder what event that we all pretend to oppose the genocide of Palestinians, hint, hint, caused the increase in the value of these Elbit stocks. Literally fueled by blood of Palestinians. And Emma Vigeland, Sam Cedar, Hassan Piker, all these fools are supporting him. I don't know. I mean, for me, this should be up there with a fucking war crime. Financially profiting off of genocide? Because you're just following orders? Fuck out of here. Jesus. But the remaining chunk of the TRS Elbit growth in that period came from purchases of new shares, per the records. So he was purchasing more. While the Zionist entity was conducting a genocide, he bought more fucking shares. How is this not fucking disqualifying? How is this not disqualifying? This should be asked to him every fucking time he makes a public appearance, and this should be put forth to Mamdani of why he endorsed someone that purchased new shares in a genocidal fucking company, Elbit Systems. The comptroller is the custodian of the city's 5 pension funds and, with advice from their boards, execute investments. As of June 30th, 2021, the latest disclosure before Lander became comptroller in January 2022, the city's pension fund held less than $250,000 in Elbit stock total. He changed that shit. The IDF has been accused of using Elbit weapons in strikes that have killed Palestinian civilians during the war in Gaza, the genocide in Gaza, launched in response to Hamas' October 7, 2023 terror attack. Resistance, baby, resistance. Several European governments have divested from the arms producer in protest of its applying of the IOF. But not Brad Lander. Not Brad Lander. Not on Brad Lander's watch. How the fuck do you endorse this, Mamdani? Well, by being a comprador, that's how. Asked about the Elbit. I keep saying it wrong like I give a shit. Asked about the Elbit holdings in his interview with the News, Lander suggested the comptroller has very different responsibilities than a member of Congress. I'm just doing my job is the line. That's his fucking defense. I'm just doing my job. Who has learned more from the fucking Nazis than Zionists? Who has learned more from fucking Nazis than Zionists? Jesus fuck. And that pension fund investment must by law only be viewed through a fiduciary lens of securing maximum returns. That's funny. Jesus fucking Christ. Literally saying I was just doing my job. He was forced to do this by law. Oh, it's not my fault. The law forced me to do it. Damn. Pension funds investments must by law only be viewed through a fiduciary lens of securing maximum returns for the city's government retirees. Quote, you don't bring your politics to the job of investing the pension's money, and I have not. And this is the same line that Mamdani is hiding behind. Well, we're gonna follow international. I don't even know what accent I should give Mamdani since he fucking speaks to make white people feel better. But Mamdani said, I'm gonna follow international law. After claiming that he was gonna arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. Suddenly he's like, according to the law. And I said this before, motherfuckers started picking up on this. That the executive orders that Adams was pushing, that Mamdani was not going to be able to combat, and I don't think that he ever intended to. That it was a favor both to the Zionist project to secure Adams' post-mayoral career, his financial security, but also it was helping out Mamdani because he was going to be able to say international law, my hands are fucking tied. Same fucking narrative here. And do you see why we cannot play to this international law narrative? They weaponize this shit. He also argued that he hasn't personally reviewed every single pension investment move. Oh, what a fucking coward. No, the buck doesn't stop here. I didn't personally check it. That's not my fucking hand signature. That's not my hand. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. The comptroller doesn't pick every individual company. The comptroller hires investment managers and dozens of them to invest money consistent with a broad set of investment policy guidelines. And apparently, committing a genocide is not a violation of those fucking guidelines. Apparently, you couldn't go out of your ways to be like, hey, you know what? Their stock is increasing because they're a fucking death machine, because they're massacring Palestinians. Couldn't have done that while fucking campaigning with Mamdani, huh? Still, the Elbit holdings highlight an issue Lander has struggled to find a clear lane on. During his unsuccessful mayoral campaign, Lander told a progressive group in early 2025, the pension funds weren't invested in any Israeli government bonds after being asked how he could, as a comptroller, put pressure on Israel to end the war in Gaza. So he's a fucking opportunist. He's a thief. He's a fucking... Look, according to Emma Vigeland, I'm anti-Semitic, so what the fuck does it matter, huh? The funds at the time actually held more than $1 million in Israeli bonds. Still, following Lander's claim, the group New York Progressive Action Network, endorsed. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Is anyone fucking principled? Is anyone, do they have are they consistent in any fucking regard anymore? Or am I a fucking idiot for thinking they ever were? So he fucking lies to you. He lies in your fucking face, and you reward him by endorsing him. Fuck, bro. When I tell you we don't fucking hate these people enough, these collaborators, this is why. This is fucking why. Why we can't normalize liberal Zionism? This is fucking why. This is what it fucking leads to. Genocide profiteering. Not even fucking war profiteering. Genocide profiteering. So he's just a fucking liar now. So he's just a straight up fucking liar, huh? Jesus fucking Christ, bro. Where is it? Remember this shit. Remember this shit. It shouldn't be a fucking surprise, though. It shouldn't be a fucking surprise. No one excuse and try to wash the blood off Palestinians. The blood of Palestinians off of Kamala Harris's hands more than Emma Vigeland. There is no fucking human being on earth that was washing Kamala Harris's hands to remove the blood of Palestinians than Emma Vigeland. Fucking disgusting. And if we are to recognize Zionists as white supremacists, if we are to recognize accurately Zionists as white supremacists, what does that make Emma Vigeland, who doesn't even see Jewish people as white? Fucking A, bro. So you just straight up lied to them. Okay, this is from the link. Lander makes questionable claim in sidestepping politically charged Israeli divestment question. So here's the lie. We don't have any Israeli bonds because that's a category of investment that we don't have, he replied. This is in February the 5th of February, in a mayoral candidate forum. Wow. A spokesperson for Lander, who in his current job as city comptroller manages the 5 pension funds, acknowledged that Israeli investment are active. So he just straight up fucking lied. But the spokesperson, Miguel Ariela, didn't fully walk back Lander's comments, even though Lander didn't make such a distinction at the forum. Ariela said the pension funds technically aren't invested directly in Israeli government bonds. Rather, Ariela said that the pension funds' Israeli bonds are held via third-party investment trusts like Vanguard. Jesus fucking Christ, bro. Snakes in the fucking grass. Technically, we're not profiting from fucking genocide. And of course, Vanguard will be here. Zach and Gavin The kibbutz boys. Wow. And of course, the excuse, Lander stands on the, wouldn't say where Lander stands on the underlying issue of having the pension funds divest from Israeli government holdings, whether they are invested directly or via trust. Lander's foremost duty as comptroller is ensuring the physical health of the pensions funds so they can keep covering the monthly payments municipal retirees are entitled to, his office said. National socialism. National socialism, yo. Literally funding retirees' pensions with the blood of Palestinians. Wow.
I voted for Kamala Harris. You got a problem?
Harutu, thank you for the super chat. The thesis of the book, Urugu by Dr. Mariba Ani explains how Europeans' thought leads to this kind of nefariousness. Recommend watching a YouTube analysis. Yeah, let me know what video you recommend. You're on the Discord. Just drop the video on the Discord. I'll check it out. Thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Wow, fucking disgusting though. Speaking around the same time to Zev Berner, an Orthodox Jewish radio host, Lander struck a different note as he affirmed he remains opposed to the boycott, divestment, and sanction movement that calls for pulling money out of Israel over its government's treatment of Palestinians. In that appearance, he specifically touted the Elbit investment. Quote, the New York City pension funds are proudly invested in many Israeli-owned companies, tech companies like NICE, LTD, Elbit System, Mobileye, Teva Pharmaceuticals, and no, of course, we're not going to divest from them. Okay, I gotta be careful. All these fucking people that were celebrating Luigi Mandileone for removing that CEO. How would this be any different? Hypothetically speaking, how would this be any different? He's profiting from the literal death of Palestinians, profiting from the genocide of Palestinians, profiting from the ethnic cleansing, from the colonization of Palestinian land. These fucking people, Hassan Piker, Emma Vigeland, Sam Cedar, Matt Leck, Kyle KKK Kalinske, Crystal Ball, the same fucking characters every goddamn time. Matt Binder, apparently. Leftist Mafia, all those fucking opportunists. All those counterinsurgent propagandists who were celebrating. Some a little bit louder than others, but all were celebrating. Hell, Jamie Peck started a fucking donation drive for Luigi. They would all be denouncing the same tragic fate visiting Brad Lander. when he's bragging about this shit. When he's bragging about investing in the Zionist entities, death and destruction of the Palestinian people and the land. In 2015, while serving as city council member, Lander went to Israel with other lawmakers for an all-expense paid trip. At the time, Jewish Voice for Peace, a local group that backed Mamdani for mayor this year, had called on Lander and the other council members to cancel the visit, writing in a petition, quote, "Do not neglect your official responsibilities to our diverse city by touring an apartheid state." Again, JVP, simply concerned with the apartheid, not the primary contradiction of settler colonialism. At other times, Lander has said he's not doing enough to push back on Israel. Quote, "I know I have not done enough to speak out against Israel's war crimes, against ethnic cleansing, against forced starvation of Palestinians." I seen somebody, and I want to credit them, but I don't remember who it was, who said that they're not convinced that Mamdani was put in power to completely end, to betray, to decimate the Palestinian movement here in the belly of the beast. And they know what they have to say. Even when they're not outright lying. They know what they have to say. I should be doing more. It's not like when me or you say we got to do more. This is a person in position of power that wants more fucking power. And Mamdani's going to help and aid him in gaining more power. That the DSA refused to challenge his bid for power. A spokeswoman for Mamdani, who endorsed Lander's congressional run in conjunction with his campaign launch, did not return a request for comment. What an absolute fucking coward. What an absolute fucking coward. Let there be no more fucking questions about Mamdani. Let there be no more fucking questions, no more fucking good faith, no more let's hold out and see how things turn out. What more do you fucking need? What more do you fucking need from these people? What more do you need from these fucking people? Do you need to see them physically pull a fucking trigger? Is that what that is? That's the new fucking standard. That's the new fucking bar. No different than these Republicans needing to see somebody burn a fucking cross in order to call them a fucking white supremacist. What more do you fucking need? PSL is at least its own party. PSL is at least its own party, not a Democratic Party fucking talent finder, talent agency. Let's watch this dumbass shit right here.
A challenge, while two other seats have vying
the president 25 big ones.
Brooklyn's and Nydia Velasquez, who are both retiring, are up for grabs. Law professor J.C. Polanco.
If they were to win, they will just make the squad larger. And one of the dangers of having a larger squad is that you're going to have a situation in Washington where socialists are going to have a bigger voice and they're going to be tied to the Democratic Party.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. That is how I listen to shit. When is this fucking stupid?
Velasquez, who are both retiring, are up for grabs. Law professor J.C. Polanco.
If they were to win, they will just make the squad larger. And one of the dangers of having a larger squad is that you're going to have a situation in Washington where socialists are going to have a bigger voice and they're going to be tied to the Democratic Party.
A party that may
Yeah, what a dangerous prospect, dude. Yeah, no shit. That's the point.
be pivoting, according to Kai von Schroff, a senior advisor for the Institute for Education.
And he's one that I think actually really gave some.
That's the point. They're still pushing this fucking myth. Excuse me. They're still pushing this fucking myth of there being a squad, or that if there is a squad, it would make a fucking difference. When they have the numbers during a fucking global pandemic, they refuse to fucking vote as a block and bring real fucking change. Where's Medicare for all? Where's that part of the conversation? It's gone. It's fucking gone. A lot of people make fun of this. I never actually noticed this until right now. And I thought it was no, this has to be some type of fucking... On a side note, somebody that says black like that, that's a fucking dog whistle. That's a fucking dog whistle. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about the context. Someone with the anti-black track record of Hassan Piker, the Black Santa Claus. Nah, he's just mocking fools now. Ah, fucking disgusting person. Is this a fucking filter? I know people make fun of his head being so tiny, but this looks like a legit fucking filter with how small his head fucking is here. That is something else, bro. That is wild. Look at this shit. What the fuck? Why does he have a black Santa? Because he's not racist, guys. It's to trigger the reactionaries. Right, buddy. Right.
A party that may
Yeah, what a dangerous prospect, dude. Yeah, no shit. That's the point.
be pivoting, according to Kai von Schroff, a senior advisor for the Institute for Education.
And he's one that I think actually really gave some good language to the idea that the party is looking for fighters, not folders, and he's one of them. So we'll see if he's able to win based on that.
In responding to Lander's run for Congress, Congressman Goldman said that he is proud of his progressive record in Congress and plans to deal with Brad as well as other challengers in the new year. Reporting in Park Slope, Andrew Ramos, CBS News, New York.
So yeah, this is where we're at, and
I'll be honest, I thought it was just like reactionaries like joking. You know what this reminds me of? This is what it reminds me of.
I'm gonna count to 3.
He'll do it, Jeeves.
1.
I'm telling you, that man does not look stable.
2.
But you know what? Talk to me. He is just crazy when he's like this.
He's always crazy. Why don't you get a massage? Take a cruise.
3.
Drop the weapon and put your hands on your head.
I warned it.
Drop the weapon!
You warned it.
Don't make me kill you.
You insensitive prick.
Great movie. That's what it reminds me of. I didn't pause it at the right moment, but fuck it. Oh yeah. Nah, there has to be something better here. Holy shit. This is why I'm not like... fuck, bro. What the fuck? Fuck it, I don't give a shit if you're a fucking Zionist collaborator. That is fucking funny right there. That's what, yep. Look at that shit.
And it'll ruffle a lot of feathers. Let's be real. Of course, it already has. It's pissed off a lot of people. I personally think it's good. I think it's good. It's not the best, but I think it's good. It's not as...
It's good. It's good. Right? It's not the best, though. We could do better, but it's good. It's good. I'll support it.
As bad as people are presenting it. Especially, by the way, it's Avilés, not Avilés. Stop adding an L to it. Sorry, it's a pet peeve of mine. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Avilés. I don't know, Lander. What are his cons? His cons are that he's not an anti-Zionist. He is what I would consider, I guess, like he is the best of liberal Zionism. A person...
The best of liberal Zionism. The best of liberal Zionism. Is this like a fucking an album? Call now and you'll get the best of liberal Zionism. It's so fucking stupid, bro. Hirotsu, it dances? Yeah. Yeah.
That has actually used his political position and power to actively divest from Israeli bonds.
Lying. Immediately fucking lying, bro.
Guess like he is the best of liberal Zionism. A person that has actually used his political position and power to actively divest from Israeli bonds. And a person that actually...
No, he did not actively do that. He diversified their fucking portfolio and increased funding for the Elbit system. Excuse me, increase the stocks that they had for the Elbit system. He diversified the fucking portfolio. That is not divesting, but they manipulate facts to suit their needs, to suit their fucking needs, to suit their new fucking propaganda campaign. Look, DFTP, Dom, Tomo, Hirotsu. You're just woke skulls. You're just woke skulls. I hate the left. You're just woke skulls. Holy fucking shit, man. Have you not seen this? This one.
Your understanding of white supremacy is so juvenile, it's infuriating.
So somebody said your understanding of white supremacy is juvenile, it's infuriating. Look at the sound he makes.
Your understanding of white supremacy is so juvenile, it's infuriating.
Ugh. Ugh.
It's because I am a white supremacist. I'm moving to the white supremacist town, okay? That's why. I'm a white supremacist. I'm white, okay? I'm white. I'm a white man. I'm a cisgender, heterosexual white man. You got me. You caught me. Okay, you caught me because I want these white enclaves to survive and exist so we can have sundown towns and finally restore the white caliphate. You fucking got me, dude. It starts with the implicit biases. It starts with the blind spots. Despite the fucking tens of thousands of hours poured over critically examining white supremacy and how it manifests in every orifice of American society, you, Chatter, you caught me. It was actually my privileged blind spot that you identified, and now the mask is slipping. Shut the fuck up. God damn, dude. You're so...
You know, like this would work. This sarcastic kind of, oh, you got me bullshit would work if he was funny. But I've always believed you have to be intelligent to be funny. Just, I don't know. It's what I've seen. So I've never found this so funny. But two, he actually does have plenty of blind spots. We all do. But if this is your response to go this ultra hard, is to fabricate in real time the most extraordinary straw man imaginable. Hey, maybe you shouldn't be joking about this because you yourself have perpetrated an anti-blackness. You yourself struggle with this shit. You want me to start South Africa apartheid 2.0? Like immediately going there is like, oh, okay, bro. You can't handle actually having a conversation. You can't handle actually having some self-reflection. Cool. Yeah. And I'm assuming, you know, he got the Black Santa after this, right?
God damn, dude. You're so fucking stupid. What is this like? Are you okay? No, I'm not okay. No, I'm not okay. No, of course I'm not fucking okay, dude. I can't even crack jokes at the expense of a bunch of inbred white douchebags that decided to fucking try and build a failed white supremacist enclave in the middle of fucking nowhere where they're in self-exile without a bunch of chatter saying that I'm actually blinded by white supremacist values. How can I be okay? I hate all of you. I hate the woke. I hate woke. I hate the left. I hate the woke. Fuck.
What have we said about white people, supposedly on the left, unironically using woke? What have we said about that? What have we said about white people, supposedly on the left, unironically using woke skull? And the moment that this was criticized, immediately, I hate the woke, I hate woke skulls, immediately. What that translates to for white people is I hate being held accountable, I hate getting called out, I hate having to improve. I should be fucking worshipped because I'm advocating for you, because I spoke for your rights. That should be enough. How dare you fucking ask me to do more? How dare you ask me to self-reflect? You're ungrateful savages. I hate all of you. And we know what woke skull stands for. We know what woke stands for. He wants a white fucking community in his chat. He's mocking these fucking white supremacists for starting a real life white community. In the meantime, nothing makes him happier knowing that it's a predominantly white community. There's a fucking reason why Sam Cedar in fucking Brooklyn maintains a white for 20 fucking years, a white workplace when he's the fucking boss. There's a reason why Hassan Piker may collaborate with black people, but starts businesses with white supremacists like Ethan Klein and the IOF veteran Gila Klein. His side projects are all with fucking white people. He surrounds himself with white people. He wants his community not to criticize his fucking blind spots, to not call him out. Who better than fucking white people?
We will never achieve anything. We will never build communism, socialism, any sort of progress whatsoever. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's not happening anytime soon, regardless. But we're not even building even a modest expansion of social safety nets, okay? Because this kind of mentality is just cancer at the heart of any kind of fucking coalition building, any kind of movement building. You can't even fucking make a couple jokes without people being like, whoa! It's a privileged blind spot. And now I'm crashing out because I'm a white supremacist. Okay? Just get the fucking ball rolling ahead of time. Make some fucking TikToks, chatters. It's time. Let's go. Hassan, consistently dropping the ball on black issues. He needs to stop talking about black issues. It's just like you're centering your entire worldview around being a fucking smarmy douchebag. Who the fuck? What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, whenever you call white people out and saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't be cracking those jokes when you have so much fucking work to do on yourself. Maybe don't get on your fucking high horse about your fellow white people when you yourself have issues to work on. You haven't earned that fucking right to crack those fucking jokes yet. I was going to say yokes. You're just being smarmy. And you're the fucking reason, you woke skulls, you woke people. You woke people are the reason why we're never going to have communism. Or why we can't have socialism. Not even a modicum of social services. Yeah. Who stopped universal health care? Because black people were going to get it? Who wasn't? And that shot themselves in the foot to not have black people have health care. Who was that? Yeah.
We're getting to a goddamn point where if people want to fucking be white supremacists, they can openly say it. You won't achieve shit because you're not an organization. You have no idea about movement building. You've clearly never been a part of movement. You, whatever movement you're a part of, you are destroying. Okay? Whatever fucking movement you have actually been a part of, you are actively undermining and destroying. You literally are born with a copy of the fucking CIA disruption manual. You, chatter.
Imagine accusing others of being disruptors, of being part of the CIA. Imagine having the audacity to do that. When you yourself have admitted to working for Homeland Security.
So when I was in college, this is more of a confrontation story, but when I was in college, I was working on a program called Cicada with the Department of Homeland Security, the Command Control Interoperability Center of Advanced Data Analysis.
Wow,
and
you have some fancy-ass titles.
Yeah, I know. It was like a mathematician, like a group of mathematicians, whatever. I'm not going to get too far into it, but I never told my boss who.
So he worked for Cicada that was working alongside the Homeland Security. But I'm sure is this, and credit to them, I don't know why you're fucking watching Hassan Piker if you're actually organizing. But credit to them, says, bro, you're the one that's never organized. And immediately starts fed jacketing him. The guy that worked for Homeland Security through Cicada immediately starts fed jacketing. What is it? Every accusation is what? Chat, every accusation is what? Our hatred of these fucking people, of these counterinsurgent propagandists, is forever insufficient.
Okay? Whatever fucking movement you fucking be not an organization, you have no idea. People want to fucking be white supremacists. They can openly say it. You won't achieve shit because you're not an organization. You have no
You won't achieve shit because you're not part of an organization, somebody tells them.
idea about movement building.
You have no idea about movement building. And Hassan Piker has never been part of an organization. Oh, well, except for those fucking date rape, roofing fraternities. He's been a part of that. The sex tourist fraternities, he's been a part of that.
Clearly never been a part of movement. You, whatever movement you're a part of, you are destroying. Okay? Whatever fucking movement you have actually been a part of, you are actively undermining and destroying. You literally are born with a copy of the fucking CIA disruption manual. You, chatter. You. I am not a movement, exactly. But even though I'm not a movement and an entertainer nonetheless, you still treat this as though it is yet another opportunity for COINTELPRO. And it's not that you're getting paid by the fucking CIA. You're just doing it for fun.
Homie got paid by Homeland Security and is accusing people that they're doing the CIA work for free.
Because you're a fucking moron. You're a fucking moronic dipshit. Every single thing must be designed according to your own personal values. That's it. You're selfish. You're stupid. And even when something is irrelevant and unproductive and utterly for entertainment purposes, you can't fucking stop yourself. You have no charity. You have no grace. You're just a fucking narcissistic loser. Okay? And you behave like a little federal agent for free. You're
Whereas Hassan Piker did that shit for a paycheck. Man, Is it even perfect? Fucking A.
At a moment when it was more politically advantageous for him to fuck over an anti-Zionist candidate, actually stood by his side. It was obviously good for him as well, as you are seeing.
Yeah, you're acting like a federal agent. You're acting like a fucking record. Let me tell you why Brad Lander is the best liberal Zionism has to offer, and we need to support him.
And a person that actually, at a moment when it was more politically advantageous for him to fuck over an anti-Zionist candidate, actually stood by his side. It was obviously good for him as well, as you are seeing. But as far as his cons goes, those are some of his cons in general. It's mostly around Israel, honestly. I can't really think of, that was actually awful of you, King. You didn't just do this. What? Oh God. I'm seeing that people are, no, I would say he's even better than Bernie Sanders. He has said that he is anti-BDS as well. So most of the cons come from Israel. But even though most of his cons revolve around the issue of Israel, he is so far above the average American politician. He's gone so far above and beyond the average American politician that we're going through the minutia. Like under Brad Lander's management, New York City Public.
Do you see why? Do you see why I was saying he wants to compare it to the standard Democratic establishment instead of what Zohran Mamdani prevented from happening, which is a DSA wholly approved member in Alexa Avilés or Avilés. Instead of comparing it to her, he's comparing it to Goldman and to the rest of the fucking old crows up there. Again, changing and controlling the narrative. Oh, forget about Alexa Avilés. Forget about the DSA. Brad Lander's the best compared to Goldman and the other fucking old fucks. All the other old Zionists that don't know how to change their language, don't know how to lie properly.
The average American politician that we're going through the minutia. Like under Brad Lander's management, New York City public pension funds have seen windfalls from investing in Elbit, the Israeli military's primary arms producer. The second biggest pension fund even bought new Elbit shares in the past year as the Gaza war raged. Like this right here, the revelation could be awkward for Lander as he runs against Representative Dan Goldman on a platform that includes sharp criticism of Goldman's support for Israel. Lander told he was simply doing his fiduciary duty by advancing the Elbit investments. Like that's actually a fucking serious red line. That's from Chris Sommerfeld, okay? Under comptroller Brad Lander.
That's a serious red line, but he won't. I believe we read this or a version of this.
Oh, no, he has actively said he does not support BDS. He did actually divest pension funds from Israel, though. So the New York Post headline is false. I oppose and always have opposed divestment from Israel. Pension funds are invested in many Israeli-owned companies, but he did do that. So this is the...
He diversified their fucking portfolio. And what does it matter if he did that when he increased the fucking stocks in Elbit? Because he looked at it and said, oh, shit. The Zionist entities committing a genocide? Let me get a fucking piece of that.
This is the shortfall. This is the shortfall of being a liberal Zionist who's also actively doing the most with the limited political. He has done more. He has done more as the New York City comptroller while simultaneously saying he's never been anti-BDS. Yeah, here is Don commends New York City comptroller for ending investments in Israeli bonds. Any city comptroller should divest from Israel bonds and from companies that profit from or contribute to Israel's unlawful occupation and abuses, Don said in a letter today, the New York City comptroller Brad Lander. The letter commends the comptroller for ending the city's Israel bonds holdings and urges a review of remaining Israel-related investments to ensure compliance with international law, the UN guiding principles on business and human rights, and the city's ESG criteria. Like, I don't get that. I don't get that position, though. I mean, yeah, because liberal Zionism is an oxymoronic ideology, okay? Because Zionism is a fascist ideology.
That you continue to fucking normalize and cozy up to. Ethan Klein, Sam Cedar, Bernie Sanders. Now, Brad Lander. All liberal Zionists that you continue cozying up to.
But this is the problem. Exactly. If you are not an anti-Zionist, if you are a self-described liberal Zionist.
Mind you, he's in California. And he's still pushing the Brad Lander thing. Do you see how it's not a conspiracy fucking theory? All these fucking counterinsurgent propagandists, the Hassan Pikers, the Sam Cedars, all these fucking people, Emma Vigeland's, the Vanguard, Crystal Ball, Kyle K. Kalinske, they all told the same fucking line. Twitch chat, Cinnamon, seeing the bastardization of the word woke over the last decade, particularly shows how white liberals and conservatives work together to destroy anything black. Yep, they come together to destroy it and then hate on it. Absolutely correct.
Okay, but you are also simultaneously divesting from certain Israeli investments.
You see how he's trying to muddy the waters to his audience? Yeah, he increased, the stock purchases of Elbit systems, but he's also divesting in other bonds. He diversified their fucking portfolio. He looked around and said, we've invested too much in the Zionist entity. We need to diversify. Oh, Elbit is increasing its value because they're committing a genocide with the Zionist entity? Bet. Put some more money on that shit.
You are going literally above and beyond. You are going above and beyond, far more consequential in New York City than any other city in America. And also, you have done more.
Notice the amount of time that he's focusing on divesting bonds from the increase. What was it, like 283% increase? Due to the increased purchase of Elbit stock. Notice the amount of time that he focuses on each. It's done on purpose to mislead his fucking audience. It's counterinsurgent propaganda to mislead his audience to focus on this instead of the reality.
On the other hand, because of his liberal Zionist position, he's like over here being like, oh no, I oppose and always oppose divestments from Israel. He has called what Israel's doing a genocide, by the way. Nice. What happened to Megaphonics?
Nice.
He keeps tagging Hassan and spamming.
Nice. Who gives a fuck? Before the bar was in hell where you're saying you better say apartheid. Now it's, you better say genocide. But you can still be a fucking Zionist. We saw Bernie Sanders glow about colonizing Palestine and the kibbutz. Oh, but I'm not a Zionist. Why? Because Sam Cedar, Emma Vigeland, all these fucking bastards, including Hassan Piker, again, bastards the compliment, excuse me, all these opportunists are trying to redefine fucking words in real time. That's the liberal fucking playbook. That's the liberal fucking playbook.
I think with his active defense of, bro, I'm trying to send you, he's using 2D investment. So it's half true, half false. Yeah, I understand that. Calm down. This motherfucker got he was spamming so hard.
I don't care.
He went that. Dang. It's not a second. Lander took office in 2022. The city's pension funds held nearly 40 million in Israel bonds. By early 2025, the city had sold off at least 1.17 through the police pension fund, fully eliminating its holdings. Just as New York City divested from apartheid South Africa in 1985, this decision represents a historic continuation of the city's role in upholding human rights through responsible financial choices. Dawn's letter to Comptroller Lander highlights how investment in Israel bonds directly finances Israel's military operations and ongoing human rights abuses in Gaza and the West Bank, with major credit agencies downgrading Israel's credit rating since October 7, 2023. These bonds also pose significant financial risk to pension beneficiaries.
You see, that's all they care about. It's not a moral fucking position. They're a fucking risk. These bonds also pose significant financial risk to pension financiers. Continuing to hold or purchase Israeli bonds, Dawn emphasized, would violate international law and fiduciary obligations. That's the only part they fucking care about. Otherwise, why would you increase your stock in Elbit system? But these people try to paint it like, no, he's taking a moral position.
Continuing to hold or purchase Israel bonds, Dawn
it's just fucking business. Ilhan Omar was right. It's about the Benjamins, baby.
Would violate international law and fiduciary obligations. That Israel bonds expose the city to potential legal challenges. Similar lawsuits have already been filed in other states where residents argue that such politically motivated investments breach fiduciary duty and put public funds at risk. By divesting, New York City has avoided these legal pitfalls while reintroducing its global reputation as a leader in human rights and responsible governance. At the same time, Dawn urged the comptroller to review the city's remaining $315 million in other Israel-related investments, including stocks and real estate, and to ensure all public funds are aligned with international law and ethical standards. Ending support for companies complicit in Israel's occupation of apartheid regime would bring the city fully in line with its obligations under international law and its own investment principles.
Not going
to
do
it. So
it.
radical, even though it's not, right? Even though it's basically a step in the right direction towards human rights. The comptroller that is replacing him has immediately said that he is going to redo this decision. Okay, and when
yes, because all this shit is not only insufficient, not done for the right fucking reasons.
Of social investment, different time culturally, a very different from that. Brad Lander did not learn about Israel.
He excuses Brad Lander because he was socialized. Yeah. Apparently, witnessing a genocide isn't enough.
And it like this, you know what I mean? I'd have a lot more smoke for him. I'd have a lot more skepticism for him, even though a lot of his other positions are actually pretty good.
Jesus, bro.
If he hadn't done shit like this, you know what I mean?
If he hasn't done shit like this, diversify the portfolio, increase stocks in Elbit. This is why we went over this shit. So you wouldn't fall for his fucking lies, his fucking smokescreen bullshit.
If he hadn't actively defended anti-Zionists and said that they're not anti-Semitic, I'd have a lot more smoke for him. I'd have a lot more skepticism for him, even though a lot of his other positions are actually pretty good. Do you understand? Because an election is not won on one issue regardless. Contrary to what my fucking naysayers consistently say, Hassan, you only care about one issue and that's Israel. I don't make this analysis when—
No, he only does that when somebody's attacking him. When somebody's personally attacking him, he makes it about Israel, about Palestine immediately. He weaponizes it.
It comes to electoral politics, okay? Israel itself is a pretty good way to figure out whether or not a Democrat is sincere, or a pretty good way to figure out whether a politician is—
Mine where Lander literally lied about it. And he's talking over here, like, it's not that bad.
Invested in actually a recent one. It's a litmus test, okay? This is something that I stress all the time, and maybe even people in my community misunderstand my position on this. Okay?
Let's see if there's
As of
any—
June 30th, 2021, the last disclosure from before Lander became comptroller in January 2022, the city's pension funds held less than $250,000 in
here we
Elbit
go.
stock total. So this directly contradicts any sort of anti-Israel initiative because Elbit's stocks went up because of the genocide. Elbit is an Israeli weapons manufacturer.
And he's still gonna defend Brand Lander. We read over this, he's still gonna defend this shit.
So looking at that and saying, well, their stocks went up because Israel's doing a genocide, or even if your position is Israel's doing war crimes, right? Even if the liberal Zionist position is not to acknowledge that Israel's doing a genocide, even though it very clearly is doing a genocide, that is the UN position. That is just the unconditional position to take. That's not even a position at this point. It's just a reflection or a recognition of abject reality. On the other hand, you're still directly recognizing that genocide has actually improved the stock prices of an Israeli weapons manufacturer, and you think it's a wise investment to make. It's fucked up. The IDF has been accused of using Elbit weapons and strike.
It's fucked up. That's all he has. It's fucked up. I'm still gonna continue advocating for him. It's fucked up.
That have killed controllers a very different maximum. He also argued, like, there is. Let's be real. There is a little bit of politics in that situation. There is. What I mean by this is if you didn't have as the comptroller, you do put the city funds at risk when you don't divest from Israeli stocks such as this one. You put
you fucking idiot. If the stock is growing and he sees that shit, fucking God.
City potentially in legal trouble, right? So there is an argument that you can make to divest and to not increase funds in Elbit systems, right? So the notion that this is just a fiduciary responsibility is a little ridiculous, a cop-out. Still, the Elbit holdings highlight an issue lenders struggle to find.
He's a Zionist and he wants to increase. He wants to do a good job. It's both.
And a clear lane on during his unsuccessful mayoral campaign is still following an argument. The New York City pension pharmaceutical and no proportionately holding politicians against the wall who are moving the needle in a positive direction. You have to still call out inconsistencies. I mean, come on, chatter.
Inconsistencies. I mean, he lied though. That's not an inconsistency. He straight up fucking lied.
Major inconsistency in the way that he's communicated.
And he's telling you, I do not support BDS. I did not divest from Israel. And you're saying, oh, it's both.
On this issue. Also, this is still, at the end of the day, a primary race that's coming up. When can you criticize politicians? You know, it's just, the thing is, like I said, the biggest scrutiny to Brad Lander will still come from the Israel lane, even though overall he has, I think, done a bunch of things that he did not have to do.
A bunch of things that he did not have to do. Divest, aka diversify the portfolio. And what? Chummy up with Comprador Mamdani? What else?
That played a role in Zohran winning, right? So having said that, this inconsistency is of course a significant one. But we haven't even talked about all of the other. Hold on, what the fuck is this? We haven't even talked about all of his other positions. I mean, he's great on ICE. He's great on defending immigrants. He's great on defending trans people. He's great on every other issue. Okay? That's just the truth. He's talked about also divesting from, I believe, BlackRock as well. Like, he's pretty good. He's as good as it's going to get for a left politician in the Democratic Party.
And immediately memory wipes everyone about Alexa Avilés or Avilés. Because if you actually position her the way we have, where we're not over here saying, oh, join the DSA. We're not over here saying the DSA is great. We're just saying, run your fucking candidate. It'll ruin this fucking narrative. It'll ruin this fucking narrative. Because instead of comparing Brad Landner to Goldman and all these other fucking ghouls, you're comparing them to Alexa Avilés. And then this whole fucking narrative, this whole fucking push falls apart. Because again, this is literally the lesser of two evils. Again.
Especially when you compare someone like him to who he is slated to unseat, which is Dan Goldman, who is dog shit, right? Yes, I would say he is in essence a progressive through and through. He could literally just step aside and let someone else run who isn't an elderly Zionist. Okay, well, you don't get to fucking make these decisions. The reality is, this decision has been made before we could have a say in it.
By who? By whom and for what purpose? By Mamdani and for the purpose of backroom deals to squash any momentum the DSA might have had because of Mamdani. You get to be on top, pull the ladder behind you. Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez said the same fucking thing when she wanted the Oversight Committee chair seat. I won't endorse any new challengers to incumbent Democratic politicians. Pulling the fucking ladder behind them.
Are you gonna run? He's also not elderly. The fuck? He's fairly young for a politician in America, that by American standards. Like, what the
Bro, the older this fool gets, the more he's like sensitive about calling people elderly. He was just crying recently about not being able to reach young boys. Fucking weirdo, bro.
Fuck. In 2015, while serving as a city council member, Lander went to Israel with other lawmakers on an all-expense-paid trip. At the time, Jewish Voice for Peace, a local group that backed Mamdani for mayor this year, had called on Lander and the other council members to other times. Lander said this September, funded investments. This will definitely come up quite a bit in his race. It certainly will. Also, matching his action in 2015 to his current perspective is obviously silly. Now let's take a look. Do you agree with Zohran Mamdani? Mike Lawler grills Brad Lander on Mamdani's Israel
called
comments.
Yourself in 2016 a Brooklyn Jewish Democratic Socialist. And so my question
Hillary
to you
in
is
that article, just to be clear.
My question to you is, what is your relationship with the Working Families Party of New York and the Democratic Socialists of America New York City chapter?
Of the Working Families Party, I am a member and a donor. Of the Democratic Socialists of America, I am not a.
Hold on, give me 1 second, yo. Sorry about that. All right, we got to wrap up. We're at 4 hours. Listening to this fucking idiot. Jesus Christ. And again, this is why you have to make sure to read, do your own research, because we have these counterinsurgent propagandists like Hassan Piker who will manipulate reality, the truth, to meet his fucking needs, right? For his own fucking allegiance to the genocidal Democratic Party. Again, look, dude's a fucking weirdo. Dude's a fucking weirdo. So with that being said, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for getting busy in the chat. Help out if you want to, if you can. The Patreon is moving. I appreciate all the help. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell if you want to know when I go live. Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Friday. Next month, we're going to start the monthly watch parties for documentaries and movies on the Discord. We're going to start the book club, the weekly book club on the Discord. We're trying to get this community going and growing. Look, we have to call out these counterinsurgent propagandists. We have to. These are the enemies and we have to treat them as such. We can't let them gloat and celebrate because he criticized fucking Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, Steven Crowder. That's fucking easy. These are the people misleading the working class that actually want to get active, proactive, and organizing. So, as Glenn Ford said, organize with eyes wide open. I appreciate y'all. Yes,